election authority and it comes back to them. That's now illegal to do in Missouri.
Why did?
Because I guess they think it's fraudulent or some kind of way. But it's an application for an absentee ballot with that voter's name on it. Going to that voter's
to an address.
Yeah.
And that person has to fill it out, sign it. It has to match up.
Right.
It's something that both John and I did, and this is some of that conspiracy theory stuff that's taken hold down in Jeff City.
And I will say, just because the Georgia runoff is a huge deal, when you had President Trump telling Republican voters not to vote because their votes wouldn't count anyway because it was corrupt. My understanding that is if he had said that and directed that language to Democrats, that would actually be illegal because you can't
suppress the vote.
Suppress a vote. You can't tell a group of people not to vote. And he did it to his own side. Again, if anyone's mad at what happened in the Senate and losing those seats, you have to point a finger at Donald Trump. You have to.
Yeah, I mean, those Georgia runoff, we should have at least won one of those. And had we won one of them, we would have had the majority in the Senate for the last 2 years. So there you have it.
What do you guys make of election concerns as far as security? Like, have you seen the Pennsylvania story where there are some places, Berks County has uniformed sheriff's deputies sitting at the drop boxes? And again, it's kind of unclear what exactly they're doing. There's one question. There's like they're asking questions of people, but they're not clear about what. Like, what do we make of all of this?
It's all based on a false narrative.
Right.
This is all something that's been perpetuated by Donald Trump, and the sycophants that follow him have embraced it. The conspiracy theories, conspiracists continue to push it. And it's gotten to the point of voter intimidation now, where down in Arizona, they literally have guys showing up in camo with guns.
Did you see
at the drop boxes?
The grandma that went and bugged them?
Yeah. I mean, it's
pretty great.
It's nuts. Donald Trump has been bad for this country for a number of reasons, and what he's done to the stability and the assurance of our vote. And look, the courts have said nothing happened here. The former president lost in every lawsuit that he ever brought forward. And I think that Donald Trump is not only bad for election and people's belief in the elections, I think he's killing the Republican Party.
I will say that I am not a fan of the drop box because if you are going to cheat, you could do it by going out. I don't know, just to throw a thing out there. You go through the nursing home and you go collect 50, 60, 80 ballots and you go drop them off at the. That should not be legal. That's called ballot harvesting, and that's a practice that is illegal in many states. Missouri, one of them. In fact, somebody went to jail for harvesting ballots in the city, right, in a primary.
Potentially, I think so. Yeah. I can't remember who.
They were convicted. I remember, but anyway. So I'm not a fan of the drop box. I think voters, ought to take the initiative and go vote. If you want to vote early, that's great. But I don't like one person going out and collecting up 50, 20, 100 absentee ballots.
Voting's never been easier than it's been now in Missouri. We said this on our show earlier. If you're out there right now and you want to go vote, if you live in South County and you're up in North County and there's a polling place up there, you can go there. It is no longer having to show up at XYZ middle school. You can do it.
And even on election day, you can vote at any polling place in St. Louis County.
In St. Louis County. So people just get it out of the way. Go vote.
Could you solve that with, I don't know, just like a little GoPro camera? Just like, and then on the box it says, this box is being surveillance, has got video surveillance on it. Like, could we not solve that without, I don't know, like people standing there?
I don't think you're
AR-15s?
ever going to be able to appease people who will believe nonsense.
I wonder if is the threat, and I put threat in air quotes, or
very sarcastically.
Yes. Is the threat of this greater than the reality of it? Because we talk like, they're harvesting, but are they?
Well,
and if they do it, aren't they getting caught?
They are oftentimes. It's voter fraud is much less of a concern in big statewide and national elections because it's basically impossible to commit enough of it to make a difference. Where it does make a difference are in these little local elections. And so you've got a primary for alderman, several hundred people are going to vote in that election potentially. That's it.
Right.
And so that's where, I have a concern in those little, and there are city council people in municipalities in St. Louis County that win their elections with 7 votes. I mean,
Wait, 7. The difference is 7 or
No,
7 total
they've
votes?
got 7.
total votes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
It's laughable.
look at
But so's
look-
our system of government.
look
And all
at
those
the-
votes are mine.
They'll publish the election results. You got to wait for the April. You got to wait for the April elections, but they publish the election results the next day in the paper, and you'll see Charlotte. Joe Stevens gets 8 votes, and Sally Mae gets 3.
And you know all the voters.
Yeah.
You're like, I know which one of the 7. I'm
Yeah.
asking everybody who
Uncle
voted
Dave,
for
why
me?
didn't you vote?
How about the guy that's got a wife and 3 adult kids, and he only gets 2 votes?
Yeah, exactly.
That tells you something.
Hancock and Kelly hanging out with us on a Friday in advance of Election Day on Tuesday. Obviously, a little bit more about whatever races might be actually competitive, the ballot issues and other things we can get into as well. We'll continue on the show here in just a minute on KMOX.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to KMOX for all the news, sports, talk, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. Planning a road trip this fall? Maximize your fuel economy by inflating tires to proper pressure and packing light. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Alexi Janulius's past is littered with scandals, fiscal mismanagement, and shady behavior. As state treasurer, he lost over $150 million of college savings funds with risky investments. And his family bank was seized after loans were made to Russian mafia members.
I'm Dan Brady, and I have a plan to improve the Secretary of State's office by cutting wait lines, increasing senior services, and reducing license plate renewal fees. We need someone we can trust as our next Secretary of State, and that's me, Dan Brady.
Paid for by friends of Dan Brady.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-day kitchen and bath.
Marilyn Facer recommends 3-day kitchen and bath.
Working with Dave was an absolute delight. Once everything was scheduled, everything went perfect.
Have you ever had a remodel done before?
About 25 years ago, and it was a nightmare.
Was 3-day kitchen and bath on time?
There was no delays. Everything was on time. All the deadlines were met. Everything came at once.
Would you recommend 3-day kitchen and bath to your friends and neighbors?
I highly recommend them to anybody.
Top quality products and craftsmanship in 3 days or less. Call 3-day kitchen and bath. Always on time as promised, at the price promised, and your job comes with complete satisfaction guarantee. No ifs, ands, or buts. Visit their website at 3daykitchen.com. That's 3daykitchen.com.
3-day kitchen and bath.
You had a solid retirement dream, sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with Truehold. Truehold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want. And Truehold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since Truehold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit Truehold.com and discover how much Truehold will buy your home for today based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's Truehold.com.
CertaPro painters have powers beyond those of ordinary painters.
The power of timeliness.
We show up when we say we will, on time and fully caffeinated.
The power of transformation.
Also known as making your house look so good, your neighbors will be jealous.
The power of certainty.
That's your local CertaPro painters. The power of pro. Get your project started at CertaPro.com.
Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
All the news and all that matters to you. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
All right, 10:20 on the show. Amy, Chris, and Kevin hanging out with Hancock and Kelly on the Friday before Election Day.
Okay, so we're looking at trends across the country, and we obviously Ron DeSantis is a big name in the Republican Party, but a few months ago, I wrote off Kari Lake as like a wackadoodle in Arizona, but she is very polished with the way she presents herself, and she seems to be getting more national attention despite that she makes rather outlandish claims because she was, I believe, a news anchor,
She was.
is so good on television,
Yes.
knows how to take an answer from a reporter meant to maybe catch her in something, a gotcha question, and she can spin it around. I feel like her national presence is growing.
Yeah, she's going to win. She's going to be the governor of Arizona. And, you know, the thing about Carrie Lake, her social media, if you go back, she was very pro Barack Obama. She was very anti Donald Trump in the early days and was retweeting and re-Facebooking, whatever you call that thing. All of these
Sharing.
messages. Yeah, sharing. And then she runs for office and comes out as a completely different person than she had exhibited for years and years. You go back to the primary race in that race. Her opponent was making all these points. They were putting all of this information out there. And, you know, whether she's had a personal transformation, I don't know. But I tend to doubt it.
Yeah.
Wonder
Because
if she's
So it sounds like,
figured out what seems to work.
Yeah.
Sounds very, very familiar in this state, doesn't it?
Well, it sounds super familiar in this state. It also sounds
Yeah.
super familiar that if you are someone who's been on TV and you notice, wow, I can play these people, you can grift and become successful.
We've got a local news anchor in Missouri that's going to be a member of Congress after Tuesday. Mark Alford over in the Kansas City market. And you know, politics has become a celebrity industry. It's you got Herschel Walker running for the Senate in Georgia, and I mean, celebrity sells, and not necessarily in the best interest of the country.
And I don't inherently have a problem with a celebrity becoming a congressperson.
Gopher. Gopher was
well,
in
not-
Congress.
Yeah, I mean, like
from,
it doesn't.
from the Love Boat.
Steve Largent.
Ron
Well,
Reagan.
it's
Very respectable guy.
it's supposed to be representative
Some guy
of
named Reagan.
Who we are.
of people, right?
Yeah.
So it's not the worst thing in the world.
Well,
But I don't have an inherent problem with it, but I do when people are clearly playing the masses.
Congress has always been a reflection of America. Dick Gephardt used to say that to me all the time, that it's a reflection of America. So when you see somebody who's kooky, there's probably a kooky person that's in Congress. Unfortunately, a lot of people are buying into this conspiracy stuff, and those amount of people that are showing up in Congress is growing.
Well, and to that point, I used to at least have some faith in the Senate. Like all the crazy people went to the House of Representatives because it really is the House of the people. The House of Representatives represents America and all of the wackadoodles in this country. But I had a little bit of a higher standard for the Senate. And now you're looking at Dr. Oz and Herschel Walker running for Senate. And I'm starting to feel a little bit depressed about that.
Well, yeah, and I would not be shocked if your Democratic nominee for president in 2024 is Oprah Winfrey.
No
way.
way.
Wait, for real?
There's no
I wouldn't be
come on.
shocked.
No way.
I wouldn't be shocked.
Michael, I don't know why
I don't believe that.
I don't know why you'd want to. If you got that kind of money.
I know.
But I will say this,
But
if the
it's a power
Republicans
kick, though.
choose to nominate Donald Trump, it does not matter who we nominate, we will win. Donald Trump cannot win a national election. He cannot. It is over with. It is done. He will not be able to win a national election. He'll be able to win a Republican primary. And by the way, that's what these people are doing. They've all jumped in with Donald Trump. That's fine, but they're going as far as they're going to go.
And speaking of that, there is a rally in Florida this weekend. It's on Sunday,
Road trip.
and I believe this is it's in Miami. You want to go?
Yeah.
And pretty much
Can I
everybody
skip
who's
the rally?
all the important players in Florida, the Republican Party in Florida, are going to be there, except for one person, and it's Ron DeSantis. He's not a member of this, and I believe it was last weekend too. Trump had stuff in Florida, and DeSantis couldn't do anything with any of these other people. He couldn't have them there because Trump had them. What does that say about the dynamic between the two of them and what ultimately happens with the party?
Well, I think DeSantis is going to run, and he's going to have to run against Donald Trump. So he's going to have to be aggressively going at him. Donald Trump will not respond well to that, and it'll be a nasty, nasty little fight.
Who wins that fight?
Well,
Why
if you-
buy Coke? Why get Diet Coke if you can have Coke? I think Trump wins that fight.
Maybe. I'm not. A lot of folks who even like President Trump don't think he should be the nominee. So I mean, I think DeSantis would have a real shot there.
For some reason, I'm really thinking DeSantis would come out on top with that one. Here's my question. Is there a chance that Ron DeSantis keeps making his move? Because he's making a push. I mean, he's technically not a border state. He was busing migrants to Martha's Vineyard. He wants to be in the national spotlight. He wants to be that guy. He's overrun Tom Cotton and Greg Abbott and all of that. Is there a chance that Ron DeSantis gets enough momentum that Trump does not run? Because the only thing that Trump doesn't like is losing.
Well, Trump's going to announce. He's going to announce this month, I think, that he's running. Does he continue on in the race? I mean, you've got a year and 2 months until the Iowa caucuses, so anything can happen. But it may be that Donald Trump needs to be a candidate for a whole host of legal reasons that he's facing potentially. So
there's probably nobody who's hoping as much that Donald Trump gets indicted as Ron DeSantis.
Because then you can run but not have to have the fight. Is that what you're saying?
Well, if the former president is indicted before he
he could
becomes a
still
candidate,
run.
yeah, I guess he could run.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately the way that Donald Trump gets out of whatever legal trouble he's going to have is cutting a deal, and one of it's not going to be running for president.
That was what happened here
Eric
with
Greitens.
Eric Greitens. He cut the deal that he would resign the governor's office, and a couple of those charges were dropped.
Interesting. So again, the benefit there for DeSantis is I don't have to have the brawl with Trump, so I don't make any of people that would prefer him angry, and maybe he ends up backing you because he can't run anyway, so he's going to pick someone, and you may be that guy. Like,
Doubtful. I don't know
benefit?
that Donald Trump would have the ability or the humility to endorse anyone. I think it's all about him. That's the thing that's the most amazing part of what's going on with Donald Trump is that these folks can't see. This has nothing to do with policy. It has nothing to do with anything other than Donald Trump.
Okay. This is going back to, we have like 30 seconds.
Okay.
I know everybody we've been talking about doubting the election integrity. When did this narrative start out of nowhere with Donald Trump? Did he start this, or was there something that primed people to believe there was no integrity?
Well, yeah, there's been, concerns about voter fraud for years. You had the whole wave of states passing the photo ID law as a means to address that. The actual stop the steal phrase trademark was trademarked by Roger Stone in the 1980s.
Oh.
Huh.
What's that guy doing?
Could be in jail.
He's up to something.
Interesting. Hey, Amy, block the door. Hancock and Kelly can't leave. They're going to hang.
Yes.
A few more minutes.
We
with the
got you
fellas.
now,
Coming-
suckers.
Coming up after the news.
He was looking for the place called Lee Ho Fooks.
Election night in St. Louis. Be sure to stay informed with KMOX. I'm Michael Calhoun alongside Megan Lynch with our continuous coverage. KMOX reporters fanned out live at all the big watch parties and analysis from names like John Hancock, Michael Kelly, Shamed Dogan, and Braxton Payne. From Missouri and Illinois results to the national perspective from CBS. Stream us in your ears while your eyes are obsessing over those screens and the results. It's Campaign 2022, Tuesday, beginning at 7 p.m. From the trusted voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here, and I see clearly thanks to Doctors Birdie and Malhotra, and you can too. Go to youridoc.com today or call 314-966-5000.
Spark Co-working St. Louis is a new collaborative workspace located within the PwC Pennant Building in Ballpark Village. The Spark Co-working community supports the thriving St. Louis entrepreneurial ecosystem, where you can live, work, and watch the Cardinals play all within one district. The all-inclusive workspace includes furnished month-to-month offices and suites with stadium, city, and arch views, concierge mail service, nitro cold brew coffee on tap, and so much more. Call 314-278-5297 or visit spark-stl.com.
At 10:30, we have a mostly cloudy sky, 71 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Stuart McMillan. Here's what's happening right now. Stellantis and the government are warning owners of 276,000 older vehicles to stop driving them after the airbags apparently are exploding. They've exploded in 3 vehicles so far, killing the drivers. The company that was formerly known as Fiat Chrysler is telling people to stop driving Dodge Magnum wagons, Dodge Challenger and Charger muscle cars, and Chrysler 300 sedans from the years 2005 to 2010 in those model years. Another plan for the Barra Academy property in Chesterfield, a town and country school. The independent Catholic St. Austin School wants to take over the building. That would require a zoning change. That's because the property had been rezoned for a McBride Homes development, but they dropped that plan. Barra Academy defaulted on its bank loan in 2020, and the bank foreclosed on the property. Midland States threatened Barra with eviction, but the case is pending. Barra lost its tax-exempt status and has struggled to pay staff. The Ferguson Fire Department and Athena are teaming up to offer flu and COVID shots at Ferguson Fire Station 1 today. No appointment needed. Walk-ins are welcome until 3 o'clock. Looking at the roadways, there's a stalled vehicle. This is 64 eastbound at 270 southbound. Be prepared to stop in that area. Also, stalled vehicle. This is 270 northbound just past Dorset. And that crash on 270 southbound at Gravois, you have to be prepared to stop there, as that clearance time is still not until about 11 o'clock or so, according to Missouri Department of Transportation. Weather high of around 81 degrees today, and the record today, 82. That was set back in 1978, so we may reach that. Low of 56 tonight with some rain, thunderstorm possible. High of 63 tomorrow, a little bit cooler, though some sunshine peeking out through the clouds tomorrow afternoon. Right now, 71 degrees in Florissant, 73 in St. Peters, and 71 degrees downtown at the Arch with a mostly cloudy sky. I'm Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
From abortion to inflation, the issues in our local elections have far-reaching implications. We're breaking these issues down on The Home Stretch, Odyssey's new original podcast. I'm Doug Sovereign. Each week, I'll talk to a range of experts to give you a no-fuss 15-minute download of the most pressing issues on this year's ballots. Listen to The Home Stretch on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, this is Kent Newbold for Newbold BMW. We just celebrated our 35th year as a BMW dealer by finishing our multi-million-dollar renovation. So come see it. It's Newbold BMW in O'Fallon, Illinois, or newboldbmw.com. You'll be sold on Newbold.
Driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Experience one of the biggest films in motion picture history with director Steven Spielberg's ultimate thrill ride. Jurassic Park, screened in HD on Powell Hall's giant screen, with John Williams' iconic score performed live to picture by your St. Louis Symphony Orchestra, November 4th through 6th. Tickets at slso.org.
The Billikens men's basketball season tips off Monday. You can catch the action here as the Billikens host Murray State. Pre-game 6:47, tip at 7 on your home for Billikens basketball, KMOX.
Eddie Grant.
10:35 on the show, and John Hancock's loving the music selection.
Yeah.
Eddie
Is that
Grant,
what this is?
Yeah.
Electric Avenue.
One-hit
We
wonder.
gonna
Oh.
rock down to
Yeah.
Electric Avenue.
Oh my God.
and then we'll take it higher.
This is what this is what these guys do when they're playing snooker. They play like
Yeah.
Eddie Grant and sing along.
Wait, I have a question about snooker.
Yeah.
When you're at the snooker place,
Yeah.
what's it called? A
A
snooker hall?
A snookery.
Well, it's a pool hall with a
Snookery?
snooker table.
Do they have music, or is it
Oh,
just
yeah.
like every
Jukebox.
Oh, yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And
Because I didn't know if it was
They
serious.
sometimes they play Wheeler music in there.
Nice.
Death
Nice.
metal and
Yeah,
all
that's
that.
Slipknot crap.
I guarantee
Do
don't
they
play
really
that.
Oh,
play?
yeah.
they do.
Oh, yeah. They do.
They do Sunday
Yeah,
mornings,
yeah.
especially after we
Yeah.
get off TV.
Yeah.
There's a group that knows that he and I don't like it, so they come in and play it.
Yeah, I don't think they have that on any machines.
So
Yeah.
I heard
Yeah.
that Michael Kelly over here
Yeah.
Yeah.
bought himself a new cue, and
Yeah.
it's like what, several $1,000s.
Oh, I don't know
come
what
on.
extent. He comes walking
No.
in yesterday, and wow.
It was $180. It was the same cost that you spent on your cue.
Thought you said it was over $200.
Well, it was, once you get the case and all that. But
Uh-huh.
here's the deal. John Hancock, he decides we're going to be snooker players,
Yeah.
because he was hanging out with me and one of my best friends.
Yeah. Started
And,
watching it.
and we were watching YouTube
Compelling
and
stuff.
snooker.
Compelling.
And so John takes a liking to it. And as a result, right before the pandemic, he says, hey, let's go play some snooker.
And I show up there and he bought me a cue. Well, John shows up with the Cadillac Accuse, right?
Yeah.
He's got this traveling case. It looks like,
Oh.
he's a professional. And then he's got my twig that he's pulled together that he bought off of Fisher Price.
No, I know it's Friday, guys, but
no.
And so I'm like, what in the world? Okay, so I've been playing with this for a while, and we
It's the same
play
stick.
enough together
Nothing
now
wrong
that
with
I'm
that
like,
stick.
wait a minute. I need to upgrade my technology because
You
I'm
can
competing
invest,
against a
yeah.
guy who's got the best.
No, there's nothing wrong with that stick. I will play.
How come you've never played
Well,
with
I'll
it?
play with that stick
Today?
Yeah.
The whole day?
Maybe.
Well, what do you mean maybe?
Well, now I've got the whole feel of my stick. So
yeah, he's got weights on his stick, you guys. He's got
Weights?
special chalk that he uses, only his certain chalk.
how is there special chalk? Isn't chalk chalk?
No, not according to John
That's where you
Hancock.
go
No,
wrong.
you don't have. There's no special chalk.
No, yeah. I play
Pyro.
Yeah, I play with the pyro chalk.
What is pyro?
What is
chalk?
that?
Well, it's round instead of square for one.
Okay.
It contours better to
It's
the
got
tip.
gold dust on it.
And you get fewer kicks with a cue ball if you're using the better chalk.
Have you ever knocked like you've hit the cue ball and the ball comes off the table?
Michael
Oh,
did
yeah.
that yesterday.
No. I didn't do that
Oh, that-
yesterday. You
no.
did.
Oh, it didn't come off the table.
No.
It did, but
jumped.
it went in the pocket.
Yeah.
Should have. I mean, it was in the pocket and it came back out of the pocket. I mean, that's ridiculous.
John, you are in this and have been in the snooker world for a while.
Yeah.
We have been talking a lot about the chess cheating scandal.
Yes.
We've talked about the fishing scandal,
Yep.
cheating.
Yep.
There was the
Beanbag.
beanbag scandal, the cornhole
Right.
What were they?
bag scandal.
Tom Brady was taking some of the pebbles out of the thing.
No,
Yes.
they had thin bags.
Thin
Thin
bags.
bags.
Yes.
Interesting.
And so there was
You guys are
$15,000
just
on the
trying to
line.
get me fired today.
So hold on.
Well, you got a dirty mind over there,
Yeah.
Wheeler. We're talking
you
about
guys
sports.
are doing it. No,
We're talking about cornhole.
We're talking about cornhole and
The
bags.
actual quote was
and sticks.
his bags were a little
His bags were thin. And one
Is-
guy said that
is,
he was
is there a bag thickness requirement in cornhole?
yes, there is, and a weight requirement.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Well, that
And I
makes
guess you
sense.
could boil the bags, which makes them
You boil
lighter.
the
I
bags.
don't know. But anyway,
Huh.
has there been any?
No. And here's
Okay.
wow.
the great thing about
30-minute
snooker.
question, Ron.
The great
Well, when
thing
9
about
people
snooker
interrupt me.
is it is truly a gentleman's sport. So you've got a referee there. In the
Gentleman's.
professional level, there's a referee, but players routinely call a foul on themselves. So if you brush the cue ball, and don't move it, that's a foul. And the referee may not have even seen it, and the player themselves calls the foul on himself. That it's a
like golf,
great
yeah.
sport, that game,
like
that
golf
way.
that way.
I'm not
Interesting.
trying to be crude, but since we are talking about scandals
Yeah.
in fringe sports, darts, there was a darts championship in the UK.
Yeah.
This was maybe a year or two ago.
That's serious.
Maybe it was pre-COVID. I'm kind of messed up with the
Uh-huh.
timeline. And one guy was his opponent after he lost in the championship filed a petition because he said he was passing gas on purpose when it was the other guy's turn to distract him.
That's
the
not
old
cheating.
Oh, well, I think it was
the
this
old
guy.
the old flatulence offensive.
Hey,
It's,
listen, there's nothing wrong
But
with
it was like officially it was
crop
officially a
dusting.
thing. Yeah.
well, it's frowned upon, I would imagine. I mean, you don't want to be
Like what would
I don't think I've
happen
heard
if
that
you
word
Marking
since
up the joint.
college.
if you were playing Michael Kelly in snooker
yeah.
and he was doing that to a degree that it was distracting and disruptive?
Well, it would not be good.
Would you file a complaint?
I would take a timeout because eventually, stuff
I
dissipates.
thought elite competitors just played through everything.
Well, I
Right.
mean, you certainly can.
Is there any flopping in snooker?
Flopping?
Yeah, like in the
like
NBA.
soccer and basketball, where they just exaggerate.
You exaggerate the foul against you.
Here's
No.
the deal about my pal.
No.
Like he grew up in a pool hall, guys. So he's been playing pool his whole life. Not much of a life for him, but he's been playing pool. So now he gets his golfing buddy
Taking
and
shots over
gets him to play snooker with him. So his 10,000 hours of exceptionalism
Yeah.
are already in. I'm still building mine up. So I will pot one ball at the beginning of the this is your frame. You're going to beat me. It's all over with, blah, blah, blah. And then sometimes when I'm down 20-0, he'll be like, oh, I just missed that. This is your frame. This is your frame. And then he's a jerk too, because he'll go, I'll put the ball and he'll go, ooh, I thought that was going to go in.
I
As
did.
he's like darting to the
Yeah.
table
John,
to kill me.
just between us. Do you ever do the thing that older brothers do to little brothers, and you let them stay competitive for a while? Just so he
No,
doesn't
I can't
quit?
do that. I can't do that. I'm so competitive.
Not
that
even at the beginning.
No,
Yeah.
I can't do it. Even when my kids were little, I'm really bad that way.
No, I think that's good. Kids need to learn to lose. I'm a
Right.
big fan of losing.
Yeah.
And
I'm good
lose
at-
badly.
Yeah, I'm good at it.
You don't want to
Okay.
beat him. You don't just want to beat him.
Losing, losing those I lost 2 elections. Best things that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
No, I am getting better.
Yes,
I am
yes,
getting
you are.
better, and I win about 30% of the games we play.
25.
Okay. 25% of the games we play.
Got a chart.
But John is getting better too.
Yeah. Sure.
And so it's really unfair. But
It's like
when
that
we,
Stevie Nicks song.
we play a bunch of guys. By the
I'm
way,
getting
we,
older too.
we play a bunch of guys who are immigrants to St. Louis. There's an Indian guy, a Ukrainian fella,
Yep.
and we play a lot with them. And
They're
John and I can hang with these guys who've been doing
Nice.
it their whole lives.
That's
I
impressive.
have
John
noticed
in particular can hang.
Ronnie O'Sullivan,
Oh.
the guy that you talk about.
Play-
You
Playing in the
lit up?
semifinals tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he's got a thing coming. Like this dude has over 500,000 followers on Twitter. Like this guy,
Wow.
Oh.
Ronnie O'Sullivan,
Oh,
is
yeah.
a big deal.
He's
and
a
he
huge. They just did a documentary on him over there in the UK.
Wow.
He's a lot like the Deion Sanders, if you will.
Of
Like
snooker?
he's good. He knows he's good. He'll talk it. He's a smack talker. He's also like he'll toy with people. I mean,
Wow.
Ronnie O'Sullivan's a unique personality in
Great
the
guy.
sport.
He's the greatest snooker player to ever live.
Yeah, and you've interviewed him, right?
No,
No.
I want to interview
Oh,
him.
you
Oh,
want
we should try to get
My
Ryan.
Hill. I put My Hill on that, and he retired.
Oh, that's probably why he
That's probably why
retired.
it's like I can't get this one done.
Yeah. Hey, I don't think my 2 co-hosts know my favorite story, which has to do with you playing the piano at Six Flags and not having the right shoes.
Oh yeah.
Can
What?
you tell that story?
Yeah. So Six Flags for 7 summers.
He was in the union.
playing the piano. I was.
He was the saloon piano player. Right?
Well, so I get to work one day, and I realized I left my shoes at home. My black, because I had a costume, and I'd forgotten to bring my shoes. So I'm wearing tennis shoes, and I'm thinking, what am I going to do? And then it hit me. Over in the shooting gallery, they've got all these things that you shoot in the shooting gallery. One of whom was the piano player, and he's got black shoes.
it's
so-
not a guy though.
So
No, it's a dummy.
It's a
It's a
dummy.
dummy,
Yeah,
yeah.
but he's got black
Mannequin.
shoes on.
Yeah.
And so I brilliant. So I head over to the shooting gallery and I say, hey, can I, they said, what do you need? I said, I just need to grab some shoes. And so I get down there, and the problem with these shoes
They're
is that they,
stapled to the floor.
no, they had a big screw bolt through. So they had a hole on the top of the shoe that, it was bolted to the floor. So I unscrewed the bolt from the shoes. They were a little small, but I played the piano that whole day with those shoes on, and then I put them back on the dummy at the end of the day.
What?
From one dummy to another.
Yeah.
He was the saloon piano player.
The dummy.
No,
Was
wait,
it-
what were you?
Oh, I played at the train station.
He played at the train
Yeah,
station
yeah.
in an old timey outfit.
I had the sequined vest on and the sleeve garters and
So you were like 16. when you
derby
did that,
hat.
right?
I started at 16 and,
Okay.
and played all through high school and college.
I was picturing you like 5 years ago doing that.
I could. It's the best job I ever had.
So
Yeah.
he has shown up to snooker in a costume before.
Oh.
Like he'll wear pants. And
Well, yeah,
a black
I'm
shirt,
often found wearing
a
pants.
waistcoat. And then, so we had a little tournament with our international friends the other day. And so we're getting ready to play. I'm in the first game, and he's like, wait a minute. We have to have our walk-in song.
Oh my
So he's got walk-in songs.
What
He's
was
got
it?
names for all of us.
Beautiful Day is Michael's
And he
walk-in
called me
song.
the Irish Assassin.
Okay.
He called the guy from India the Lion of India and played some ding dong ding dong ding ding dong ding ding dong dong music. We had the Ukrainian Thunder.
Yeah.
And then of course John's name when he plays
The Rocket.
I feel like I'm playing with a child, by the way. I mean, he has his own music, and he calls himself the Rocket Johnny O'Sullivan.
Like to have fun.
Well, I have a buddy of mine who goes,
Oh my
"Is he
God.
okay? Like, is he on the spectrum?" I was like,
Is he on the spectrum? I love Fridays so much.
Do you now?
Why?
And it's not because it's the weekend, it's because you two guys are in here.
Yeah.
How about
Yes.
that? That's so touching.
I'm not joking. I
That is
love it.
so
appreciate that.
I love it.
We
You
like
guys are
coming
here.
in when we don't have to talk politics.
Well, pretty soon you don't have to.
Well, yeah.
You know?
Well, there's
Next
always
week,
the post-mortem. So
you guys are doing full election coverage here first.
right
though,
here.
So tell us what's going on.
Tuesday night, 7
We
to
will.
11 o'clock. We'll have a whole folks. Michael Calhoun will be with us. Andy Banker, our Channel 2 anchor, will be with us. Braxton Payne, Shamed Dogan will be broadcasting all evening, giving you the latest highlights of what's happening around the city, state, and country. And we'll also be double timing on Channel 2 at the same time. They're going to set up a studio right here at KMOX.
Maybe popping the champagne cork along about 10:30, 11 o'clock. We'll see.
To celebrate it being over.
Yeah, right.
No, but the Republicans are going to take over and they're going to defund the war for Ukraine. They're going to pull off Social Security. They're going to take Social Security back. You're going to have a lot to
We're not
celebrate.
going to take Social Security back.
John, you ought to listen to what your candidates are saying.
I am listening to what my
They're
candidates
defunding. They're defunding the Ukraine battle. Now they want to get rid of Social Security.
No,
Medicare.
they don't want to get rid of
They
Social
do,
This is
John.
the typical Democrat.
No, I'm going to go pull you the lines. Look, see, we share facts. You got to go to some conspiracy theorist to get your messages.
And nobody's taking your Social Security.
Hey, you guys take this outside, man.
All right. Peace and
No,
love.
actually, keep going.
See you,
man. This is great.
Again, Hancock and Kelly will be part of our election day coverage, election night coverage coming up next Tuesday. And of course, we'll talk to them here next Friday. We've got trending next on the show.
Hey, KMOX listeners, Roger Wigginton here at Don Rogers Limited, 6727 West Main in Belleville. Well, we're certainly getting deep into fall. Holiday season is right around the corner. Hard to believe, but it is. At Don Rogers Limited and our men's and women's apparel departments, we are fully stocked. The assortment is incredible. But for holiday wearing or holiday sharing, think of Don Rogers as your one-stop shop. If you need a special gift of men's and women's apparel, we've got it. If you're looking something for yourself that's cute and different for the holidays, we've got it. You know, we've got a huge selection of men's and women's sweaters, probably more sweaters than any store in the area. Plenty of free parking, free gift wrap on in-store purchases, free alterations on in-store purchases. You know, we'd love to have you stop by. Of course, always great service. Don't forget, we're located at 6727 West Main in Belleville. Park at the door, walk in, get waited on. We'd love to see you. And as always, thank you so very much for listening to our commercial.
What's more American than baseball, apple pie, and voting? I'm Missouri Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft. Voting is a right and a responsibility. On Tuesday, November 8th, if you're registered, you can vote by showing a valid photo ID or casting a provisional ballot. Before you vote, research the issues and the candidates. Missouri has accessible, secure, accurate elections. Make your voice heard and vote.
Sponsored by Missouri Secretary of State, sos.mo.gov.
It's Miller Furniture's Veterans Day sale now through November 14th.
I'm Mark Miller, owner of Miller Furniture. Is your home ready for the holidays? With the largest selection of Amish-made kitchen and dining tables, you can save up to $1,000 and have it delivered in time for Thanksgiving dinner.
Right now, we have over $4 million of in-stock inventory on sale at our Belleville, Lake St. Louis, and Ellisville locations. Everything in all of our showrooms are available for immediate delivery.
Miller Furniture delivers comfort to you and your guest. Save $100 to $300 on twin, full, and queen-size sleepers from Flex Steel Industries.
Plus, get special financing options like 18 months of 0% financing with no minimum purchase.
How did you sleep last night? If it wasn't great, I'd like you to try a Chatham & Wells handcrafted mattress and save 25% on any size, any model.
Join us for our Veterans Day sale going on now through November 14th.
Family-owned Miller Furniture, your American-made furniture headquarters, now on both sides of the river.
Yeah, I was just at a convention with for one of the major manufacturers, and they were showing all the new products, and we were discussing all the new regulations that are starting in January. With that being said, there are new changes coming up next year. But if you want to get ahead of the curve and you think you're going to replace it, but you don't want to replace the system now, here's what I'm willing to do. I can buy all the equipment if you want to buy it now and put it in at a later date. I have a feeling it's going to save you 20%, 30%, which is huge on a furnace and air conditioner. If your system is 15, 20 years or older and you know you're going to do it, probably not a time to be putting it off. I mean, we have 0% financing for up to 60 months if you qualify. I can help you out. Call me, Bart Inman, one easy number in Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Just this one name, Bart Inman. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I. SuccessFinancialGroup.com.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Laurie Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
Join us Sundays at 9:30 a.m. for Your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Get 4 tickets to the St. Louis Aquarium when you donate your car to Goodwill. It's easy, towing is free, and you'll get a tax receipt too. Dive in and check it out at mersgoodwill.org.
Give hope. Give local. Give Goodwill.
Halloween is over, but hiring is still a bit scary. Indeed's end-to-end solution helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates. Sponsor a job and instantly receive a short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444. Chris Ranji.
Wonderful bones. Great eyes, and you dress really interesting.
On the show.
What is it? What's happened?
What's going on? What do you know?
What just happened?
What happened?
I need to know.
Trending now on the show.
All right, we're going to get into trending now. Trending is brought to you by Old Town Donuts in Florissant and Cottleville. We're going to hit this a little bit later on. I just find it hilarious and ironic that Twitter layoffs is trending on Twitter.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
God.
I saw that
First
it
of
was
all, it's
trending.
terrible, but second of all,
Yeah.
that is just irony. Irony.
Iron.
Ironic.
I love how Norm Macdonald used to pronounce iron.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is, I mean, the guy's just like coming in. He is a bull in a china shop. Like, I don't even think he knows what he's doing exactly. And everybody just assumes that Elon Musk knows exactly what he's doing because he's a genius. He's smarter than the rest of us and he's thinking 10 steps ahead. Is it possible that he kind of doesn't know what he's doing and he's just throwing stuff against the wall to see what sticks?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this, I think it was yesterday, about Elon Musk and how he is the ultimate troll. And obviously he is smart in the sense that, like with Tesla and his businesses and all of that. However, he seems to just enjoy creating havoc, causing chaos, picking people that he has decided are against him or his enemies, and then just shooting arrows in their direction,
Or
like
people,
hurting them, or owning the libs or owning the establishment, whatever that means.
Like, how about just the users on the platform he just bought? Like, he's been trolling people who have concerns, like legitimate concerns about what he's going to do with the platform. They're legit concerns. And he's just been a jerk to them. Yeah. It's such a weird thing. I really don't get this.
We got
dude.
that at 1:00, right? We got guests
we're
joining
talking,
us.
By the way, you mentioned Old Town Donuts, who sponsors this.
I did.
You know what tomorrow is?
Oh my
Tomorrow
gosh.
is Old Town Donut Day.
That's
Kind
right.
of, yeah.
It is National Donut Day.
All right.
Nice.
National Donut Day. So you're going to want to hit Old Town Donuts in
favorite
Florissant or
donut?
Cottleville. You know what? This is going to sound really boring.
I know.
I like a glazed donut. I do. I think if you do a glazed donut right, they're awesome. They're awesome. I also like the chocolate glazed.
And I'm thinking more of the
chocolate
traditional,
cake.
not the super fancy gourmet ones.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
those are tailored, right? I mean, like they're
Yeah.
very specific. I just mean like donuts you're gonna find in a normal place, any normal place.
I have two favorites. The traditional donut
have to pick one.
is well, I can't honestly, because one is the traditional donut, which is the Long John, the chocolate Long John.
That is a great one.
I love the chocolate Long John. The other one would be I love the cake donuts.
I like cake
I
donuts
love
too.
cake donuts.
I love a good old fashioned.
Plain though. What do you guys,
I
on
like
the
icing on it.
One over the icing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one I had the other day from Old Town Donuts that Charlie brought in is the bomb, and it's the apple filled donut.
Oh yeah,
that's got
you were talking about that
that's
for.
got the frosting in the. Oh my god!
You were done with that donut, and you were talking about it a half hour later.
2 bites. That's all it took, like because it was that good. And then I was telling my wife about it when I got home.
Thank God Charlie came by with the Old Town Donuts.
Oh my gosh!
He was.
So go
he's
get your
great.
donuts tomorrow. You know what else? Let's see. There was something else.
Harvey Weinstein is trending.
That can't be good.
Well, a massage therapist.
Oh my
gosh! You know where this is going.
Yes, we do.
Who works with A-list celebrities, testified that she confided in her client Mel Gibson that Harvey Weinstein assaulted her. She testified Gibson offered to help her report the incident or obtain an attorney. How about that? Mel Gibson, who's been kind of a weirdo in the last 10 plus years, may have done something nice for his massage therapist. How is this Harvey Weinstein fella? Like, he's in jail forever, right?
Yeah, he's not getting out. Not the way it's going.
Why are we still talking about him? I guess I brought him up. That's my fault.
Can I do one more quick Elon trending? Because there's another one that's called another trend right now that's called also Elon.
Okay.
So the structure is going like this. Elon, I love free speech. Also Elon, free speech means private entities have to agree to promote my speech.
Here's my problem. Well, I got a million problems with this guy, but one of them is he talks about free speech and how it should be completely unfettered, whatever, but he hates being criticized.
Yeah.
So if you use the platform to criticize him, he gets bitchy about it.
Yeah. Well, and the whole blue checkmark thing is because he thinks it's somehow sticking it to the elite because only the elites have the blue checkmark.
Right.
First of all, I've got one, and I think if anybody is in a public eye, it's a good thing to have a check mark so people following you know it's actually you.
That's what it's about. It's not about status.
No,
he thinks it's about status.
It's not.
And it's such a stupid idea on his part. It's so that you know the person you're talking to is the person they say they are.
Yeah. Well,
that's what verification is.
You know what brings it down to the people, though, is making you pay for something that was free before. That's not that.
Yeah.
That's what you do to fight elitism. Make rich people have more privilege.
I hope they didn't get your mind.
Single-family houses and apartments are the key to passive income, aka retirement. No one knows this better than America's most successful investor, educator, self-made multimillionaire, and CEO of Lifestyles Unlimited, Del Walmsley. Meet Del's team live in St. Louis. 2 days only, Saturday and Sunday, November 5th and 6th. To attend, register now at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. That's GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Limited seating, unlimited potential. Register today at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com.
If you own a house in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is, without any inspections or the need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes St. Louis at 314-328-8000 or at ChrisBuysHomesSt.Louis.com and get your cash offer without any obligations, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant houses, inherited houses, fixer-uppers, beautiful houses, even the tenant won't pay the rent apartment. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis, and check out the best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to ChrisBuysHomesInSt.Louis.com. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis or call 314-328-8000. That's 314-328-8000. Call Chris and get the offer you've been waiting for. Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis.com. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis.com or call 314-328-8000.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Do your homework. Check us out on the Better Business Bureau and Angie's List. Hi, I'm Chuck Easter with Easter Fence Deck and Renovations. We can stand the scrutiny and encourage it. Don't just look at the ratings, but read the reviews. You'll find that we are who we say we are, a company that is focused on doing what's right every time. We never cheat, and we never cut corners. With Easter, your fence, deck, sunroom, or awning project will be completed with unmatched craftsmanship and at a fair price. Call 314-892-8500 or easterfence.com.
You wouldn't trust a butcher to babysit your pet pig. You wouldn't trust a lumberjack to repair your antiques. Or a professional wrestler to be your massage therapist. So why would you trust anyone but AMCO to fix your car? For over 50 years, we've been the trusted experts in transmission repair.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
AA MCO.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 10:59, it's cloudy and 73 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour, students at Visual and Performing Arts High School who experienced a school shooting plan to hold a march on Sunday. The event at CVPA will call for justice and gun control legislation while also honoring the memories of beloved educator Jean Kuzika and promising young student Alexandria Bell. Could more have been done to save lives in the Texas school shooting? CBS News correspondent Jim Krasula says that question is being studied.
A Texas doctor says he has been asked to review the medical information of the 21 victims of the Uvalde school shooting to determine whether any lives could have been saved if they had gotten medical care faster. Dr. Mark Escott serves as medical director for the Texas Department of Public Safety.
Hundreds of lawmen who responded to the shooting waited over an hour to confront the shooter. Employers added 261,000 jobs to payrolls in October, the smallest gain since December 2020. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger says the leisure and hospitality sector picked up some jobs, but far from what it needs to return to pre-pandemic levels.
Employment in leisure and hospitality, which has been the sharp tip in the COVID pandemic in terms of job losses, did keep trending up. 35,000 jobs were added in October. However, leisure and hospitality is downshifting. There's been an average of 78,000 jobs per month so far this year. That's less than half of the average gain of almost 200,000 jobs per month in 2021.
The unemployment rate ticked upward to 3.7% from 3.5%. Millions of Americans will be getting some record-breaking hot temperatures over the next couple of days. It's a rare weather event for this late into the fall. CBS News meteorologist David Parkinson explains.
We've got over 100 million people dealing with temperatures that are above normal, at least for the next several days, over 150 million on some cases. And we've even got one day this weekend where more than 200 million Americans will be having temperatures that are above normal.
Winter storm warnings and advisories are posted across the northern Rockies, with the region expected to get its first major snow of the season. It's been warm there, and that'll help, says Jennifer Bergner with the Ada County Highway District.
With them being warmer, that's really a positive. So the roads have been warm, so any kind of precipitation that's going to come down will likely just melt, and we won't have a freezing condition on the roads.
Flood watches are posted across the Pacific Northwest ahead of expected heavy rain and high winds there. The First Mid-Bank and Trust business desk, the day that many Twitter employees have dreaded ever since Elon Musk's takeover, is finally here. Hundreds of tech workers are being laid off, and some advertisers are jumping ship.
Twitter employees are tweeting their final goodbyes. It's not known how many of the company's 7,500 workers will lose their jobs in the wake of Elon Musk's takeover, but many Twitter users are concerned about how the layoffs will affect content moderation. Larry Roberts is pleading with Musk to censor hate speech.
Social media should be for sharing information, not for trolling people and sharing hateful content.
Meanwhile, according to the Wall Street Journal, a growing number of companies, including Audi, General Mills, and Pfizer, are also pausing advertising on Twitter. Matt Bigler for CBS News, San Francisco.
The Dow from Stifel's down about 3 points to 31,998. And right now, the exit's closed. 44 going east to Walnut Street. We've got emergency vehicles on 44 east past 6440 in the left lane. Stall 270 north before 6440 on the right shoulder, and stall 64 east at 270 going south.
Times of clouds and sunshine this afternoon, breezy and very warm, up to 81 degrees. Then windy and mild tonight. So we'll have some rain at times, especially after midnight. Some of it could be heavy, and there could be a gusty thunderstorm as well. This is AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
We've got clouds and 72 in Florissant, 74 St. Peter's, 73 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than $4? 314-441-4444.
Hip, hip. Hip, hip.
11:04 on a Friday on the show. Chris Ranji, Amy Marks, Course, Kevin Wheeler with you here talking. We're going to talk food, and we've got George Mahey in studio with us from St. Louis Magazine. Official title, Food Guy?
That works.
Does that work?
I like Food Guy.
Yeah, everybody
I
likes
answer
the
to Food Guy. Dining editor is official. Food critic, that guy.
You like the critic?
No, I don't like that.
Good.
No, because I'm really not the critic. I'm kind of the quarterback of the
There you go.
of the magazine or of the dining section. So I kind of direct other people. I edit, I write some, but when you say critic to people, especially restaurant guys, they're on their heels and they're giving you the side eye automatically, and you go, uh-oh, don't do anything to my food, please.
I think people don't like the word criticism because it inherently sounds bad, but it's not
Sounds
necessarily.
negative.
Like criticism is a good thing.
You can have good criticism, but when it's food, it's frequently is, and sometimes it's not. But in any case, dining editors is works just fine. It keeps me out of trouble.
That's a good idea. I mean, Ranj, you don't know anything about getting in trouble, do you?
No, I've never been in trouble my entire life because I like to play it straight.
Yeah, this
George,
guy.
I saw him winking over there, so I
like,
assumed it was not totally legit.
You're being the food guy. He stabbed Amy's cupcake earlier with
Well,
a pen.
with a pen. There was a cupcake. So Debbie Monterey, her daughter Kaylee, is a wonderful baker,
Yes.
a pastry chef, and so she made these cupcakes that were a chocolate chip cookie in the shape of a cupcake, and in the middle of the cookie muffin was an Oreo cookie.
Look great.
It's delicious, but he did
Nothing wrong with any of this that I'm hearing.
It was delicious, but he took the pen and put it in the
I stabbed it with a pen.
So you claimed it with your pen?
She made a comment to me, and I thought, here's what I think of your cupcake.
Well, I'm sure George is thrilled that he's made his way to the studio
George,
today.
I mean, one of the reasons.
And you don't even have any cupcakes for me, so it's really just heading south.
I know you like to keep tabs, and it's one of the main jobs to keep tabs on the restaurants that are opening in the area, that are coming, and the ones that are going, because there are a lot that are closing and have. First of all, after the pandemic, I recall having a conversation with somebody who represents restaurants in Chicago, and he called the pandemic an extinction level event. That's the quote that he used for it. How bad has it actually been post-pandemic?
Everybody thought it was going to be, Armageddon. It was going to be horrible. And at the end of the day, St. Louis fared a lot better than other cities our size and other cities bigger than us, from what I can tell, from what I can read. And yeah, I chronicle this. I just put it out this morning. It's, I think, the article that's up on St. Louis Magazine's site now, the openings and the closings and the coming soons.
Yep.
And forever since I've been doing this, I started it in 2008 when there was the recession, thinking this is going to be horrible. I better keep track of this, and I better let the readers know what's going on. So I've been doing this for however many years that is, 14 years, and every single month, with the exception of 2, the openings have shown the closings. This month there were 2 closings and 22 openings.
Wow.
Think about that. Think about that ratio. That's just insanity. And even through the pandemic, even through any calamity you can think of, that's been the case. And that's been the most amazing thing to me, is you hear about the closings and the woe is us, and this place that's been around 50 years closed. And that's true. And sometimes these places, they've seen better days, and it's time for them to go. Sometimes it's this, it's that. You don't know what's going on, but the pandemic took its toll. I'm not going to say it didn't, but it could have been a lot worse.
Let's to a restaurant that's one of my favorites that is moving, and that is the King and I Thai Cuisine on South Grand is moving to, I believe, Maplewood, moving off of Dale.
Richmond Heights.
Mm-hmm. Is that a huge deal? Do we know why they're moving?
And they've been there for decades,
right?
And it's really been a cornerstone of the South Grand strip there, and it was kind of a shock to me, especially in the wake of Faux Grand. There's other ones that along the Faux Grand, and Steve's Hot Dogs moved into a place that had vacated as well. So there's been some action down there, but. I think I was wondering what was going on there too, and I talked to the owner. I wrote a little article about it, and it was very interesting during the pandemic. The King and I did more business takeout than they did with the doors open, with the seats full.
Right.
And he said that blew our minds. So what's the takeaway? We don't really need all this space, and some people don't need any of the space. I mean, so they said they're going from 4,000 square feet down to 3,000 square feet. He goes, it's just, and I've seen a lot of other guys do the same thing. They're just scaling back. It just makes more sense. There aren't as many diners dining in restaurants. They're doing takeout, they're doing delivery. And so they said, we're going to get a little bit closer. We're going to spread our wings a little bit, move a little bit further west. And this will allow us to do that, and kind of they're basically ready for the next 30 years, I think they said.
George, as far as what we've seen open, you mentioned 22 new restaurants in October in the area, more coming, obviously. So when we're looking at that, what's trending? Like, what are there specific kinds of restaurants that are really growing out, or is there a certain style of food that is gaining momentum, or is it just the normal spread of different things?
It's always, when you have 22, it's a pretty big range. And I, some of these 22 that I'm looking at, some of them are reopening, some of them have moved, But as far as the new ones go, Mexican is, Mexican's the new Italian, I think, a little bit. That seems to be happening a lot. And, why is that? Well, everybody likes Mexican. Everybody likes hamburgers. Everybody likes pizza. There's certain restaurants that you're fairly safe with these days than trying some crazy new thing. So that's definitely, I think, a trend.
I would say to that point, my brother is getting married in January, and they're having their wedding reception catered by Taco Buddha. And I went to another wedding 2 weeks ago, and that wedding was catered also by Taco Buddha. And I thought, well, this is something that I wasn't expecting, but it's become that new go-to.
It works. I mean, there's, you set up a little line and everybody kind of make what they want. And barbecue is another big thing too, as far as these guys, the barbecue guys that do weddings and do catering. It's a staggering amount of their business. I mean, some of them millions and millions and millions of dollars a year just in weddings. Which is just unbelievable. You don't think about that, but that's a whole other department. It's a whole other business. So to answer your question further, one thing that did come down the pike this month was this whole ghost kitchen concept, right? One of them just opened in Clayton called Kitchen Clayton, and it's 4 restaurants under one roof. And they're really not restaurants. They're 4 kitchens under one roof. It's just this little doorway. It doesn't look like anything, but behind the scenes, there's a lot going on. There's 4 different restaurant concepts working out of 2 kitchens. And it's fantastic. And, it's pickup and delivery. And that's pretty much it. You don't dine in these restaurants. And that's the new, that's just a new thing. And somebody said, well, if it's so nondescript, how do you see it? I said, look for all the emergency flashers for the DoorDash guys. That's how you tell where it is. That's how you know.
So that's Clayton Kitchen?
Yeah, Kitchen Clayton. Yeah, I want to say it the other way too. And it's on Forsyth, right across from where the courthouse is, where Barristers used to be, where Libertine used to be, right in the middle of the block. And they've got a neon there above the door. And if you're not looking for that, you're not gonna find the place. But you don't need to, since you're probably getting your stuff delivered anyway.
And that
just opened
a couple of weeks ago.
Ago. And the other thing that is even newer than that, I just reported on this as well. There's a new ghost kitchen kind of concept, I guess, if you will, opening on Southampton. 23. They have room for 23 restaurants under one roof. Think about that.
I love that food hall
23,
concept.
And
those are great. I like
the
that.
logistics of it just blow your mind. Just however they're going to get these drivers in and out.
Yeah.
But it's the kitchen's all in a big row. There's a walk-in that runs the length of the building. So these guys all kind of share this segmented walk-in. Very smart. Hood system the same way. I haven't taken a tour of the place, but this company called Cloud Kitchens has done this, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 places in the country. It's not like we're just doing something new here and we're trying something out. These guys have proven this concept, and they said, how'd you decide, Southampton? Like, what's the deal? They're just south of Highway 44. He said, there's they draw a ring around it and they say, if we can get X amount of people in a 15-minute radius, that's our sweet spot. So whatever that number is, that's why they selected this spot. They're just starting. I don't know that anybody's signed up yet. They just kind of announced this. And I just think it's something really cool. And if you're talking about trends, this whole ghost kitchen, again, it's very efficient. There's only 4 employees. You get guys in the kitchen that are kind of listening to music, right? And they don't have to deal with angry customers. They're there with their friends playing music, and it's considered a good restaurant job.
So
kind of interesting.
That's great.
So it's kind of the restaurant version of what we saw first in San Francisco in the tech industry, where you would have like T-Rex, you would have multiple companies in this shared workspace. It's almost like the kitchen version of a shared workspace.
That's exactly what it is, and it's just incredibly efficient. There aren't any high-priced chefs. The rent's very reasonable. They allow very short-term leases, so you can get into the restaurant business fairly cheaply. And if it doesn't work, you take your equipment and go, and you're out of there fairly cheaply, and you haven't lost your house. So it's fascinating. And again, this is a real after effect of the pandemic. I think had we not had the pandemic, I don't know that we would have seen any of this stuff.
What do we know about the food offerings at City Park, the new soccer stadium?
Well, that was I just thought they were really handled that well. I think 5 of them have been introduced. in a big way. They had, all the press there, and everybody was on the field, and everybody was sampling Steve's hot dogs and stuff from Balkan Treat Box. 5 of them have been introduced, and there's 25 independent St. Louis-based restaurants that are going to be represented at City Park. And I think that's the most of any soccer stadium in the country. It's more places and more independence than any of these guys. So Gerard Krabs, who's heading this thing up, hats off to him for, rallying the troops and getting everybody together. So we haven't seen the other 20 yet, but they're all, I think, complimentary. There aren't going to be 4 burger guys. They're all designed as, walk around food, things that you can, eat on the run. And just the whole way it's being presented is fascinating because it's quick serve. It has to be prepared quickly, picked up quickly, paid for quickly. Everything has to be boom, boom, because it's soccer. You guys have probably talked about that. You sit down for the whole 40. Some people like milling around in the breezeways there. Soccer fans sit for 45 minutes. They get up for 15 minutes, and then they sit back down for 45 minutes. So this has to be very well organized and executed. And they've got this all figured out with mobile order, mobile pay, pick up at this place. It's all very, it'll be interesting to see exactly how it works, especially with all these. There's a lot of cogs in the wheel here. There's a lot of players. So really interested to see what that's going to be like in that whole plaza. They've set it up so you can hang out in the plaza without a ticket and have a Steve's hot dog or have something from Balkan Treat. So I said, I'll go down and have a beer and eat a hot dog and hang out at the stadium when I don't have a ticket because I can't get one.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
It's like tailgating.
That's right.
Tailgating during the game.
It's like, how can that be bad?
Yeah.
I'm in for the price of a hot dog.
Only have a minute or two left, George, but you came bearing gifts today. The
I
best
did.
restaurants in St. Louis edition of St. Louis Magazine. It includes the 2022 Restaurant of the Year. Let's not give that part away, I guess, unless you want to. But give us a couple teases.
Well,
What should we look for?
this was the October issue, so you're getting
it's out. Yeah,
you're getting old news here.
Yeah.
So, but it's we do this every other year. This is the best restaurants issue. The next year we'll do best new restaurants. Then we go back to best restaurants.
okay.
So this is a biennial thing. So it's bottom line. It's a big issue. We cover a lot of ground. We cover over 100 restaurants. Kind of, there's multiple places to jump in. There's breakfast places and there's Mexican places and there's high end fancy places. We covered all the Italian places. So it's a really good. It's one of those coffee table issues that you can keep around in circle and dog ear and do what you want to with it. But the restaurant of the year, we can give it away since
Since you did, since I'm dumb and didn't realize it was a month ago.
So that's Indo over in Botanical Heights on Tower Grove, and this is Nick Bognar's pride and joy sushi inspired restaurant, and it's just really, he's just clicking on all cylinders. He was a great sushi chef before he went away. He went away to somewhere and studied with some sushi masters and came back and we thought we knew what sushi was until this guy came back and showed us. I mean, really unusual techniques. He's smoking things. He's aging fish, doing things that hadn't really been done. So he is, Nick Bognar is a James Beard Award nominee, and he's also doing Sado. I think that's the name of it, that's how you pronounce it, Sado on the Hill. He, that's going to be one that we can look forward to next year. A non-Italian place on the Hill. Who would have thought? Who would have thunk it?
Right.
Watch what you do there, boy.
Mix it up once in a while, right?
No, it's good. It works, and I think I think it'll be great. And this will be another Pan-Asian type place. So there's so much going on. And again, we catch this every month. I just take this snapshot, which is online now, and it's everything that's coming, everything that's going, and things that are coming soon. And I go all the way out to mid 2023, and the list is as long as your arm. And
I have short arms, but it's a long list.
I don't even claim to have them all, but it is fun. It is fun to keep track of. Pandemic or not, I've never been busier. Somebody said, what are you doing now during the pandemic? I said, I've never had more stories to tell.
Nice.
Good stories, unfortunate stories, these pivots and all these, everything these guys did, instead of saying, I've had it. We didn't sign up for this stuff. I'm out of here. These guys all hung in there and made it work, figured out how to do things differently. And it just shows the tenacity of the local restaurant guys. I mean, it's just, I was really, proud to be at least watching it from the wings.
So everybody can check it out. The comings and goes, openings, closings, coming soons, all of that. STLmag.com. Just click on the dining tab. It'll be right there.
It's right there.
Yep. It's right at the top of the screen. Actually, it's the first tab. So
Yeah.
you don't even have to go very far.
Nope,
to look over
nope.
to
I did
find
that
it.
just for you guys. We gotta keep it. We gotta
Makes
keep it
easy.
simple.
Yep. And then, of course, STLmag_dining on Twitter if you want to find George. George, good to hang out. Thank you for doing this.
Anytime.
We appreciate
Plenty to
having the
talk about.
magazines and the info, and I'm sure we have questions off the air as well. Thank you so much.
Sure. See ya.
George Mahey with us from St. Louis Magazine. We'll tell you about some of the things that we repeat as human beings that are kind of odd. I'll talk about that next up on the show.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to The Dave Glover Show and all the news, talk, sports, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
Learn about the history and lessons of the Holocaust at the newly renovated St. Louis Kaplan Feldman Holocaust Museum, reopening November 2nd. Membership and tickets for individual and group tours at stlholocaustmuseum.org.
Alexei Janulius's past is littered with scandals, fiscal mismanagement, and shady behavior. As state treasurer, he lost over $150 million of college savings funds with risky investments. And his family bank was seized after loans were made to Russian mafia members.
I'm Dan Brady, and I have a plan to improve the Secretary of State's office by cutting wait lines, increasing senior services, and reducing license plate renewal fees. We need someone we can trust as our next Secretary of State, and that's me, Dan Brady.
Paid for by friends of Dan Brady.
You had a solid retirement dream, sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with Truehold. Truehold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want. And Truehold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since Truehold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit Truehold.com and discover how much Truehold will buy your home for today based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's Truehold.com.
Hey there, it's Hancock and Kelly for First Mid-Bank and Trust, a local bank right here in St. Louis with over 157 years of experience and 19 locations across the greater St. Louis area.
Yeah, First Mid-Bank and Trust is perfect for small business owners. You need a partner that you can count on, and that is First Mid-Bank and Trust, and they're great for everybody, whether you're saving for your first home, paying off debt, or planning for retirement. Check them out online, firstmid.com. You'll be glad you did.
Find the perfect gift at Petals Patio and Garden. New inventory of pottery from the Royal Botanic Gardens at Kew, bearing the royal crest of the London home of Queen Elizabeth's garden. Shop houseplants, boxwood balls, garden tools and ware, coffee table books, and hand-selected wines and spirits. Shop local at Petals Patio for quality and service. Nationwide shipping and complimentary gift wrapping. Petals Patio and Garden, 9757 Clayton Road in the Ladue Marketplace, near 40 in Lindbergh. Online at petalspatio.com.
Hello, my name is Chad with ClaymanGroup.com. I have another happy client of ours that just sold their house as is.
Hey, my name is Tish. I called a real estate agent first. They told me I had to do like 75 things just to prepare my house for sale. I called the Clayman Group and spoke with Chad and his team, and they bought my house when I had to do anything at all.
If you want a simple solution to your real estate needs as well, reach out today. Clayman, KLAMEN Group.com. KLAMEN Group.com.
Work or play, KMOX is right there with you. We go where you go.
All right, so have you guys noticed that we humans, we tend to kind of repeat things, like we go into patterns where we do things like, you know what, we don't want to do that anymore, but then like 100 years later, we're doing some of the same things.
Definitely not.
So we do these things now, like we're always complaining. Like one of my big ones is always the youth of today. Right? People are always complaining about kids, which has been going on for thousands and thousands of years. It just repeats itself. So there's a story in the Mail Online that was about how humans might look in the year 3000 because of our reliance on tech. And it says we're going to be hunchbacked and wide-necked. We're going to have a claw thumb instead of a regular thumb. We're going to develop a second set of eyelids. all because of our addiction to technology. The addiction to technology is a common theme we see. And I love this account on Twitter called the Pessimist Archive, and they do a great podcast where they actually look at these things from an historical perspective. So what I just described, hunchbacked, claw thumb, like this new technology is ruining humans, and in 1,000 years, we're not even going to recognize ourselves, right? Story from 1890 said the same thing, that humans are going to end up being round-shouldered, hunchback race that can't straighten its neck. What do you think that was about in 1890?
I know. I think I know.
What is it?
Reading.
Nope.
Oh.
You're not far off. Bicycles.
A bicycle. I was going to say
Humans-
horses.
People were
hilarious.
addicted to bicycles.
Okay.
And bicycle riding, and this new phenomenon was going to harm people. There was one a long time that the Pessimist Archive put out there about baseball. It was about when automobiles were first made, that it was actually going to ruin professional athletes.
Yeah.
Because instead of walking to the park or riding on their horse, they're actually just going to be lazy and drive in the car. So it's going to ruin
Honestly,
athletes.
I mean, I've said this before, and I'm not ashamed of it. I think if the Cardinals rode horses to Busch Stadium, they would still be playing right now in the
All right,
playoffs.
so I have
What
another
in the hell?
I have another quote from a previous era, but tell me what you think this is about. This is in a newspaper column. It says, "I do not for an instant believe any slanted statistical evidence presented by their side, and I'm sick to death of hearing this public burden theory."
Wait, we're asking who
What do you
said it?
think? What
or
do you
who-
think? What do you think that's about?
Oh.
It's not. That is not recent.
Okay, so just the quote again.
Yes. I do not for an instant believe any slanted statistical evidence presented by their side, and I'm sick to death of hearing this public burden story or theory.
What?
This would be
So doing
something
things
about
for the public
Okay.
good.
Okay.
this would be this.
Look at us working through this.
This is
The
about
public-
it's about seatbelt laws in the 1980s.
Ah.
Does that not sound like the
Okay.
COVID crap
I
that
was
everybody's
going
been
way-
repeating?
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
was going way too far back.
and of course, we talk about cancel culture. Comes up a lot, right?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
This new cancel culture thing that never existed before. Did you guys know that in 1915, offensive jokes were to be banned at Columbia University?
Oh, really?
Offensive jokes were banned at Columbia University in 1915.
This is all very reminiscent of I don't know which Twitter account it was, but recently did it was a Twitter thread of a history of people don't want to work anymore.
Yes, yes.
And it goes
Yes.
back. It goes back to
Yes.
news
That's another
articles,
one.
newspaper articles written like in the 1800s about how people are
Mhm.
lazy and don't want to work.
Yep.
Like, oh, we're doing this for 150 years later, are we?
Yep.
Okay.
This one's kind of serious, but we actually have more free speech now than we've had at any other time in our country. Everyone said, "Oh, we're losing free speech." We actually have more now. You can go back to Woodrow Wilson and looking at the sedition laws, or you can go back to the 18th century when people could be thrown in prison for offensive language.
Coming up next, our Friday draft. We are drafting in honor of Election Day next week. Political scandals.
Oh, yeah.
The biggest, the worst, the best, however you want to look at it. You can submit yours to 314-436-7900. We'll hit that next on the show.
Election night in St. Louis. Be sure to stay informed with KMOX. I'm Michael Calhoun alongside Megan Lynch with our continuous coverage. KMOX reporters fanned out live at all the big watch parties and analysis from names like John Hancock, Michael Kelly, Shamed Dogan, and Braxton Payne. From Missouri and Illinois results to the national perspective from CBS. Stream us in your ears while your eyes are obsessing over those screens of the results. It's Campaign 2022, Tuesday, beginning at 7 p.m. From the trusted voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
KMOX news time is 11:29. Donate a car, get a tax receipt, and tickets to the St. Louis Aquarium at mersgoodwill.org.
Let's talk real estate for a minute. The St. Louis market is kind of tricky for home sellers right now, with home values going down and not selling as quickly. Now is not the time to risk losing precious equity on your home. This is Debbie Monterey, and I always recommend calling Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria's the best. She's experienced every type of market, both good, great, and the not so good. So before you list your home for sale, call Gloria, and here's why. Gloria Liu will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed to price and time frame, or she'll buy it herself, guaranteed in writing. Gloria already has the buyers, thousands of buyers in her database. In fact, your home may already be sold. Gary and Angela called Gloria and sold their home even before it listed because Gloria had several buyers looking for a home in that area. Call Gloria Liu today at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or find her online at gloriahasthebuyers.com.
At 11:30, it's cloudy and 74 degrees downtown at the Arch. President Joe Biden is set to tour a Southern California communications company that is expected to benefit from his legislative push to bolster American semiconductor manufacturing. America's employers kept hiring vigorously in October, adding 261,000 positions, a sign that the economy remains a picture of solid job growth and painful inflation. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has accused Russia of energy terrorism with Russian strikes on Ukraine's energy network, leaving millions of people without power. Zelensky says 4.5 million people are without electricity. The Ferguson Fire Department and Affinia Healthcare are teaming up to offer flu and COVID shots at Ferguson Fire Station 1. No appointment is needed as walk-ins are welcomed until 3 o'clock today. The exit's closed 44 East at Walnut. There's a stalled vehicle on I-170 South before Airport Road. That's on the right shoulder. And the forecast from meteorologist Brian Thompson. Times of clouds, times of sun this afternoon with the high of 81, coming close to the record of 82 set in 1978. Overnight periods of rain, some heavy, and a thunderstorm even coming through late. Strong winds could come through as well with a low 54 degrees. Tomorrow's high 63. Right now, 74 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Laurie Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
Join us Sundays at 9:30 a.m. for Your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
The Musial Awards return to Stiefel Theater on Saturday, November 19th. You can be in the audience for this nationally televised event right here in St. Louis. Named for Stan the Man, the awards celebrate those who embody extraordinary sportsmanship. Join an all-star lineup of good sports, including Albert Pujols. Come walk the red carpet and experience the most inspiring night in sports. The Musial Awards, presented by Maryville University, Saturday, November 19th. Tickets at musialawards.com.
Your home of the Cardinals.
Arenado swings and hits it deep to left field. That ball is out of here.
The Billikens.
Jumper. Yes! Billikens win!
The Chiefs.
Touchdown! Kansas City!
We are America's sports voice, KMOX. The show and the draft.
The draft.
Building the perfect team.
I love the draft.
It's the draft.
More draft.
On the show.
All right, time for the Friday draft. Chris Ron, Jamie, Mark Scores, Kevin Wheeler with you here today in honor of Election Day next week. And just in honor of the times we live in, really. We're drafting the, I don't know what you say, the best, the worst, the biggest, whatever you want to do.
Just you're drafting your team, you know?
Superlative.
We're drafting political scandals today.
All right, who's
could be individuals, could be big investigations, whatever you want. Political scandals. Send us your suggestions, 314-436-7900. And obviously, we'll be making our picks here live on the radio. What do you want to do first, Ranch? Who's going first this week?
It should be Amy.
Amy's going first?
Sure. I will go last.
Okay. Amy's really worried. She's really worried you're going to draft one of them that she wants to draft very
I want
badly.
to draft this so badly.
I think I know which one it is.
Do you? Do you really,
Yeah,
Ron?
yeah.
Well, the first overall pick
You're
for
going-
the biggest political scandal.
Hold on a second.
Best, maybe.
Best,
Most
worst
hilarious.
political scandal in the history of these United States. Obama's beige suit, ladies and gentlemen.
When we lived
That
in,
is a-
when we lived in simpler times, when the color of the suit of the president of the United States could cause a scandal.
That was so much better than now.
All right, that's my overall pick. Guys,
the number one
everyone's
pick?
I know everyone is like, what are you talking about?
Guys, I got a problem. My pen isn't working, so I'm trying to write these down, and
Uh-oh.
I can't do it.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
We got a whole basket of pens back there, Ranch.
Okay.
Hey,
well,
There's
Ranch.
like 50 of them.
Ranch,
what?
There you go.
Be
Dave's
better.
giving you a new one.
Oh, thanks. Well, I'm talking about my Apple iPad pen.
Well, you can use an
Your
actual
stylus.
one.
Yeah, my stylist. So I got to do this a different way. I'm so sorry. Why am I in charge of all this?
I
Why
don't
do I
know.
have to be the
You-
writer
you
downer?
chose.
I guess I
You
did.
did.
Okay.
This is getting
All right.
boring.
So is
Getting.
it my pick? Because she took
Yeah.
the beige suit.
Yeah.
Tan suit.
I'm going for what should have been the
Tan
number
suit.
one pick. This is a case of like drafting Sam Bowie instead of Michael Jordan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Watergate.
Yeah.
Watergate's good.
Yeah.
Watergate is the goat.
I mean, sure, if you want to be unoriginal, whatever, Kevin.
Plus, I'm watching a show that's about Watergate. That's
Yeah.
pretty good. It's really interesting. It's like a kind of based on facts, but it's also what Julia Roberts plays. What's his name? Warren's wife.
What is this movie?
It's a TV show
Or a show?
and I'm spacing out.
I
on
know what
it
you're
is.
talking
I'm gonna
about,
Find
though.
it. I'll tell you because I
Okay.
don't want to leave everybody hanging. But
Watergate's
it's interesting.
Watergate probably should have been number one overall.
Yeah, for sure.
Just because everything is a gate now.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
We just talked about Baggate yesterday.
Exactly.
The
It's called-
cornhole championship that is being there were cheaters,
Yeah.
and it's called Baggate.
The show is called Gaslit.
Gaslit.
Julia
that's the
Roberts
one.
is Martha Mitchell.
Yes.
John
That's
Mitchell
intense,
is the
yeah.
So it's actually pretty good. The show's pretty good. It's
All right.
funny.
Guys, my
Yeah.
number one political scandal pick, and I feel like this could have gone number one overall.
Mhm.
The blue dress.
Gosh darn it! I was gonna do clothes only.
That
Monica-
covers the whole
No.
thing.
Bill Clinton
Yeah.
No.
taking advantage
was
of an
mine.
intern. Monica Lewinsky, who, by the way, is on Twitter, and she is very funny about it.
Yeah.
She had a tweet.
I mean, you kind of have to own it at this point.
She's really funny about it. There was a tweet from somebody, some random person, who said, "Name a story. Give us a story about you that sounds totally made up but is actually true." And Monica Lewinsky responded and said, "Pass." Can you imagine
Yeah.
if you didn't know about it and you're like, "Hey, tell us a true story about you that sounds made up."
Yeah.
Well, I had a thing with a president,
Yeah.
and
well,
yeah, there
kept
was
the
stuff.
dress. Yeah.
It's such a funny. She's very, very funny about it.
I
That's a
am
good
mad
pick.
at you.
Okay, want to know what else you could possibly pick?
Yeah, no, I'm going with another one.
And
that
this is all political scandals. It doesn't have to be just presidents.
sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Good point. Good point.
Okay.
I am going with Iran Contra.
That's a good one. That's another one of the Mount Rushmore scandals.
Yeah. I'm just mad because I wanted to do suit and then dress and see how long I could stick with clothing. Your turn, Kevin.
Because I took yours and you couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, man.
I totally understand that.
Yeah. I like themes.
You like
themes?
I like turtles.
What is this?
Then we could go. This is not a well-known scandal, but my next one after the dress would have been Ron DeSantis's white boots.
All right, I'm going history class here.
Okay.
Old school, because I remember learning
Yeah.
about it in school, and then I remember forgetting entirely what it was all about.
Yep.
But I never forgot the name of it
I
because it's a
know.
funny name.
Yep.
The Teapot Dome
That's
scandal.
exactly right. Warren G. Harding, right?
Warren G. Harding.
Warren G.
and
Harding.
Didn't he die in office like before this ever got settled?
I'm
It was
trying
all
to
about
remember.
bribery. Like they sold the rights to an oil field to a big company that was paying bribes to
It
Secretary
was like
of the
Liberty
Interior.
bonds.
Was that it?
It was Liberty bonds in exchange for leasing former Navy oil reserves in Wyoming.
Yeah, but I mean, it was a bribery thing,
yeah,
basically.
the first cabinet secretary to go to prison.
That was like a
because
whole
of-
section in my history book.
Yeah.
I don't remember what year, though.
Oh, yeah.
Like what grade I was
I
in.
would
but
think like 6th grade.
Yeah.
It was young.
Teapot Dome scandal.
Teapot Dome is such a great.
It is. It's a great name.
I really
Yeah.
like it. All right. I feel like this is a very good one because it involves a gentleman who had a little bit too much of the sauce and allegedly ended up killing a person. Chappaquiddick.
Oh, that's not funny.
No, it's not.
That
No,
is-
1973.
That is a good scandal.
Yeah, Chappaquiddick. What I mean,
Wow.
what in the world?
What in the world?
This guy. I know he tried to do good for people later in life,
Well.
but this was a problem. This was a massive problem. Ted Kennedy.
Yeah.
All right.
1973. Happened a long time
This
ago.
is such a hard one. There are so many great scandals, and that was a good one because that was serious. It was good to get away from the president because you can start to get focused on all the presidential scandals. So I'm going to go with one that is not presidential, and that would be Anthony Weiner.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that counts as political.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Representative.
Man, I gotta think about this more now. There's so many. Now that you mentioned
I
something,
know.
I'm thinking all like presidential things or like big
Mhm, I know.
national ones. But man, there's so many good ones. Like
I
that.
actually think I messed up on that one.
Why do you think that's a good one?
Because there's another one.
Wienergate.
I
Yeah,
know
Wienergate is a good one.
And there was another one that was similar, not similar, but Wienergate made me think of the other one. Go ahead.
Alrighty then.
Wait, what is we?
We'll find
It's
out.
not bad.
Maybe she's gonna draft that next.
Yeah. Go ahead. Who's Kevin?
It's Kevin.
Is it me next?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
If you pick the XYZ affair, no one's gonna know what you're talking about.
This one's more recent, and it's mostly because the fact that you could Google wide stance and this is what comes up is why I picked it.
Okay.
Larry Craig's scandal. So he was caught trying to what would you call proposition someone for sex in an airport bathroom.
Yeah.
By like they apparently play footsie like under the
Ew.
stall, and that's how you
Ew.
let somebody know. And then
Ah.
like he was accused of this, and then his response was, "I just have a wide stance." So if you Google wide stance, this is what comes up. Not Jeff Bagwell, not Albert Pujols, not a baseball player.
Yeah.
Like Larry Craig comes up with the wide stance. Should we call that wide stance gate?
Wide stance gate.
Stancegate.
That's just so ridiculous.
Yeah.
I just have a wide stance. That sounds like something Costanza would say.
Yeah.
Just have a wide stance.
That's like when he came out of the bathroom tucking in his shirt or buttoning up his shirt.
Oh my
George.
God. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. One time he came out of the bathroom with his shirt off
Yeah.
completely. All right.
Right.
I'm going back to the Bill Clinton era.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. Another one.
The $200 haircut on the tarmac at LAX where he held
Wow.
up air traffic.
A deep
Remember this scandal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody made such a big deal about the fact in 1993 he paid $200 for a haircut and
That's a lot. That's like what?
held up air traffic.
That's like
Mhm.
$1,000 now, right?
You know, Clinton had a lot of funny scandals like that. They're the serious ones, but then the haircut and then the one that Charlie asked him about when Bill Clinton called from Air Force One about how his administration stole napkins from the submarine or something.
Oh.
Do you don't remember that?
No.
No, I don't.
I was in college during all of
I
those
think
things.
the
I didn't
president
care.
was not impressed with that question, but yeah, Charlie's got a good story about asking Bill Clinton about the napkins.
That's crazy.
All right,
All right, it's
my
your turn now.
I'm
Yep.
going serious again. Pentagon Papers,
All right. Yeah, that's a pretty big one.
the Washington Post.
Tell us about the Pentagon
And
Papers
Agent
for people
Orange.
who might be listening going,
So
what the hell are you talking
during
about?
The Vietnam War, just a lot of top secret information about what was happening. You have the Washington Post investigating what was really taking place with the war in Vietnam, and they came out and published all of this information. Not terribly unlike the Afghanistan Papers, which should have been a much bigger deal. I think we were mired in so many political scandals that people had scandal fatigue, or they didn't have the bandwidth to absorb the information. But there is a book called The Afghanistan Papers, which I highly recommend you read. Charlie and I talked to the author, but the Pentagon Papers is the OG reporting.
All right, Kevin.
Oh, I got to pick now.
It's the number 4.
All right, so this is my final pick, right?
This is going to have to be your final pick,
Okay,
I think.
here we
Yes.
go.
Yep.
The Dean Scream.
Oh,
The scream that
Ended.
a presidential
That's
run.
exactly right.
He comes out of Iowa, I think, third, but it's a close race, and he's got a rally, and we're going to where do you say we're going? We're going to
we're going to Texas. We're going to Iowa. We're going to whatever he said.
Yeah! It's by the way, I love the fact that this is now called the I have a scream speech.
Come on.
It is.
Who calls it that?
Oh, all right. So
That's really funny.
Listen, so if you Google Dean Scream, there's a Wikipedia entry for Dean Scream, and it's the Dean Scream, also known as I Have a Scream, was a speech delivered by Vermont Governor Howard Dean. That was 2004. 2004, a time when making a funny noise during a rally speech could disqualify you from being president. And
But we're
the good old days.
We're a long way from that.
The good old days.
Okay, we got to do one more because there's just too many.
Okay.
Well, we can if we want to. Maybe we add at the end, like next break, like next segment, we add.
If you don't mind, I'd like to make my final pick
Ron's not
first,
done yet.
Amy. Amy, this isn't all about you. My final pick is Michael Dukakis in the tank.
Yes.
Every time I think
The man lost an election because he wore the tank helmet riding the tank and everybody thought he looked stupid.
I think it's more than that, but that's probably the
No,
big
it was
tipper.
that.
Guys,
That was the
we
tipper.
gotta do a fifth. We
All
have
right,
to.
we'll do it on the other side of the break. We'll do a bonus, and then we'll get some from our
Okay.
listeners too. So if there's something that we've missed, and we've actually got a few,
But you can't pull from the texters, Kevin. That's
no,
so
we
cheating.
can't do that. But we have a few that have not come up yet with us.
Yep.
And we cannot choose those for our bonus pick. But we want to get more of yours because you're going to think of things that we don't. 314-436-7900. We'll finish it up next on the show.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at ThrottleNet. These are the genius IT guys that I've been representing for years and years now. We are number one all the time. Best in customer service from Small Business Monthly. Best in cybersecurity, again, Small Business Monthly. We have an average response time. I love this statistic. The average response time in St. Louis in 2020 by IT companies. You have a problem, you reach out to them, hey, I'm all shut down, help me, was 3 hours. If you got back within 3 hours, you were cool. Ours was 1 minute, 57 seconds, and the guys were very unhappy with that. It takes less than 2 minutes for us to address your problems. Here's a huge thing. We are now offering $500,000 in ransom protection to everyone who uses us. This is part of the deal. You don't pay extra for it. So if you happen to be hit, and you have to pay, we're going to pay it up to $500,000. Now, this shows you how confident we are because no one under our protection has ever had to pay. Go to throttlenet.com/DGS.
Ah, the sweet sounds of a quiet garage door. Never heard it? Schedule your garage door tune-up with Overhead Door of St. Louis. It's only $89.95 for the 26-point safety inspection and tune-up. That's one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. Add nylon rollers for a smooth, more quiet operation. The Overhead Door brand is trusted by homeowners in St. Louis since 1926. Schedule your garage door tune-up online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com or call 314-781-5200. Men suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, regardless of age or past medical history, you'll see instant results on your first visit at Paramount Men's Medical Center. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free. Call now, 314-720-8081.
10 years ago, things in Missouri were very different. Politicians were brazen, but they certainly didn't incite violence. Parents didn't live in fear of losing their child in a mass shooting. And women like me didn't have pregnancy forced upon them by the government, even in cases of rape or incest. 10 years ago, before Ann Wagner took office, Missouri was a better, safer place. That's why on November 8th, we have to send Trish Gunby to Congress.
I'm Trish Gunby. I'm running for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Trish Gunby for Congress, Mark Gunby, Treasurer.
Hey, it's Bo Matthews on behalf of Beast Plumbing. We want to educate you on what a hose bib is. A hose bib is the small faucet attachment on the outer wall of your home that facilitates access to water in your backyard or your driveway or maybe outside of your business. Well, Beast Plumbing has a special in the month of October. The deal is $25 off replacement of the hose bib if you're seeing issues with yours. Maybe it's leaking, something's wrong with it, the handle's broke, or $50 off the new hose bib that they can install for you. Beast Plumbing does small jobs and they do large jobs, commercial or residential. Call on Beast Plumbing. You should have Beast Plumbing's contact information in your phone. So in the event of a plumbing emergency, or you want to take advantage of this deal, you can get a hold of them. I'm going to give you their brand new number you can call in just a moment. But again, it's $25 off replacement hose bibs and $50 off new hose bibs from Beast Plumbing. That's BEIS plumbing.com, or call them at 314-500-LEAK. Again, the new number, 314-500-LEAK. Tell them Bo sent you to Beast Plumbing.
Join us as we celebrate Jefferson Barracks VA Hospital 100 years of world-class service to our nation's heroes, November 12th from 10 a.m. till 2:30 p.m. with a car show, music, food, veterans resources, and more at Jefferson Barracks VA Hospital, caring for heroes. Whether you're looking to fill low spots in your lawn, backfill that new retaining wall, or mulch your trees and flower beds, St. Louis Composting has the compost, soil, or mulch you need to help your plants and garden look its very best. Visit our website, stlcompost.com, for more information.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. If having turkey for the holidays, buy from a local farm, get one labeled USDA organic or certified humane. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444. Amy, Chris, and Kevin.
The greatest radio talk show host ever.
Now, more of the show.
All right, so finishing up our draft. Today's draft is political scandals, all shapes, sizes, some serious, some funny, some weird. We're going to get to a few of your ideas that we haven't gotten to yet. 314-436-7900. We each got one more pick to make, and it will not come from the ones that have been sent to the text line. So
right.
A little extra challenge if you looked over there to not
I
pick
did
one of
not
those.
look, so hopefully the one I've picked
Okay.
is not there.
So
Amy's going
excited about
next.
mine.
Amy's
I'm
been
so
like,
excited.
She spent the whole break. You guys want me to tell you? Do you want me to tell you? Do you guys
Just
want me to tell you?
Wait 2 minutes, Amy. Good Lord.
What'd you pick, Amy?
Dan Quayle's potato.
Well, Dan
Spell
Quayle.
potato.
Potato is not spelled with an E, but he wrote it. And you know what? At the time
I
that
remember
happened,
that so clearly. I was
Yes.
like 5. I
Again,
remember.
I do too.
living in a time where that actually
Yeah.
made people think you were dumb compared to
clearly Dan Quayle was
2022.
not an idiot.
Yeah.
A lot of us can't. A lot of people cannot spell. I would have judged him more if he was one of those people that misuses your and your.
Oh yeah.
Like he doesn't know the right version of your to write down, like the apostrophe RE or whatever. That I will judge you on that, or misusing their.
And also, don't spell in a political speech because they always say don't do math on the radio. Your brain is just going to freeze up. Maybe he
Yes.
knew how to spell potato, but suddenly he's standing there and he has to spell it. I'm not sure.
There was an old Illinois football coach. I think it was it Tim Beckman? I think it was Tim Beckman.
Oh yeah, if it's what
Where he had like one of those acronyms. Coaches love acronyms, and he was doing this interview, and he's like, we have the WIN technique. It's called WIN, whatever is necessary today. And you're like, do you mean wint? Anyway, yes, don't spell. Just prevent yourself from spelling.
If he
All right,
added
Kevin.
an S and made it plural, that's what he should have done.
Yeah, well,
Potatoes.
football coaches shouldn't do that. All right, Kevin, your final bonus pick.
All right, I'm going with Gary Hart. You guys remember? You guys may not remember it.
You know
but
what?
He
Hold
was.
on, I'm
he
blanking.
was. Big,
Yeah.
Listen. So 1988 was probably going to be the Democratic nominee to be president of the United States,
Mhm.
and he had an affair,
Mm.
and that news came out, and that was it. Bye.
Was
See
the
ya.
headline
Over.
Affairs of the Heart?
Probably in some tabloid that appeals only to people like you.
All right.
The New York Post.
My bonus pick, and I think it qualifies as a scandal because people at the time, it was rumored at the time it was happening, but I don't know if it was full blown in the press and everybody was talking about it kind of thing. But I'm going with it anyway. The Kennedy affair with Marilyn Monroe.
All right,
Mhm.
that's
Yep,
fine.
That's a good one.
And by the way,
That's
it wasn't
a good
just
one.
John. There was also a rumor that she was with Robert too. So both Kennedy brothers.
Oh.
Like, does that qualify as a scandal? I feel
It's
like
fine.
I'm going with it.
It's. I mean, it. In the time, it might not have been because people wouldn't have known. But we've read all the things now.
Yes,
We don't know that it's a documented fact, but it's still a scandal.
a rumored scandal.
Sure.
Which may or may not have
Hey,
happened.
listen. Let our voters decide.
Okay, the voters can
If
decide.
they think that it's a good one, they will pick yours.
They will. And we
Yep.
will have
There
the
were-
results of our political scandal Friday draft up on our Twitter account at the show KMOX, which you should be following right now, you jerks.
So here we go. A bunch of things coming in on the text line, 314-436-7900. Initially, we did get someone who said the beige suit better be in there, and it was. We had another mention for Marilyn Monroe, Ron. So that was from the 217. The John Edwards secret baby. John Edwards was another one of those rising stars, looked the part, was going to be president someday, and all of the extramarital stuff torpedoed
Yeah, and his wife was
career.
sick.
Yes,
With
right.
cancer?
His wife had cancer, and he
Yeah.
was, yeah, exactly right. Another one said the Anthony Weiner one was a good one. Gary Hart got mentioned in the text line. The Gary Hart Donna Rice affair. That was that whole scandal. Let's see. We had Dan Quayle mentioned. Oh, the Swift boat scandal
So
was
I
mentioned.
had
Oh,
that- I had-
Kerry's Swift boat.
So I had two written down: John Kerry Swiftboat and Rob Blagojevich.
Oh,
Those-
Blagojevich.
Yeah.
Those
Oh, I
were the
forgot
two
about
that
that.
didn't make my.
He's had a bunch.
Oh,
He had
this,
one
what did
real
he
big
say? This seat is worth gold, and I'm not giving it away for nothing, or whatever it is. What a doofus that guy was.
We had someone
Oh.
mention the Snowden, Russia collusion. I can't believe none of us picked this one.
Which one?
Mike Pence's fly.
Oh, the fly
The
on
fly
Mike
on Mike
Pence's
Pence's
head.
head.
Because it
During the
wasn't-
debate.
It wasn't really a scandal.
It was a scandal.
More of
Everything's a
It's
scandal.
a scandal.
now.
He paid the fly.
it more like people felt sorry for him because it's kind of a dopey look.
You know what I almost picked?
What?
Al Franken.
Oh, that would have been one. Yeah, the whole
Yeah.
like
He took the photo and he was
jazz
kind of the yeah.
making yeah.
I mean, that
Uh,
seems so docile now, doesn't it?
We had one nominee. Yeah, you're right.
Compared to what we got now.
573 threw in Lee Harvey Oswald. Does that count?
I don't think it's a scandal.
I think it's a tragedy.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's,
it's a
no,
trip.
but like the whole umbrella
Yeah,
of
the
Kennedy
conspiracy.
assassination.
That's a conspiracy. It's not a.
Not
I
a
wouldn't call it a
scandal.
scandal. Yeah.
Tragedy for sure. Definitely. We'll throw it out there. Did we miss any? I don't get this reference. Wilbur Mills tidal basin scandal with the stripper.
I don't know what that one
That's
is.
from the
Wilbur
217.
Mills.
Yeah, I do not know what that is.
I'm unfamiliar. Did you mention? I don't know if this is a scandal. It was just a fact about a person, Imelda Marcos, with her 3,000 pairs of shoes.
Oh, we had a couple of texts on that.
Yes.
on Imelda Marcos.
Was that a
Here's another-
scandal, or was that just a look at this weirdo? She's
Oh,
got
here you go.
3,000 pairs of shoes.
Apparently, Wilbur Mills was a congressman,
Uh-huh.
and he got caught with an exotic dancer named Fanny Fox. And
went to high school
You know
with
what?
Fanny Fox.
This guy spoke with reporters outside of Fanny Fox's dressing room in 1974. This became the tidal basin bombshell.
Fanny Fox might have
Good
been
job,
in the
217. Really
binders full
good
of
one.
women.
Oh, binders full of women.
All right. Coming up. Hey, by the way, coming up, we'll recap some of the top stories of the day here on the show.
Get great money for your old money. SNL Coin is always buying Morgan Silver dollars and Peace dollars. SNL Coin is always buying Walking Liberty half dollars and Franklin half dollars. SNL Coin is always buying 90% silver coins, dimes, and quarters. SNL Coin is always buying silver bullion rounds and bars. Call SNL Coin, 9300 Gravoy Road, 544-3600 before you sell. SNL Coin also buys scrap gold, gold-filled, silver plate items, and sterling flatware. Precious metal gets you better money at SNL Coin.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, and Wonder Lights Christmas in St. Louis is brighter than ever at Worldwide Technology Raceway. The holliest, jolliest light show around is celebrating the season from November 11th until January 1st. Open nightly, rain, shine, or snow, including holidays. Tickets now available at the gate and online at wonderlightschristmas.com. Brought to you in part by the Illinois Office of Tourism and Illinois South Tourism. wonderlightschristmas.com.
My uncle was a sergeant in the Chicago Police Department, and he loved being a Chicago police officer. He was with a patrol officer, Anthony Rosado, and on the evening of July 17, 1970, they were assassinated.
Gene Cable is still incensed more than a year after the Illinois Prisoner Review Board released convicted cop killer Johnny Veal for the 1970 Cabrini Green sniper killing of her uncle, Police Sergeant James Severin.
I never thought I'd see the day where convicted cop killers would be released on the streets, and people would be okay with it.
For decades, Jean and her family had the support of governors and prosecutors, Democrats and Republicans, to keep her uncle's killer behind bars, until J.B. Pritzker.
We did not get any letters whatsoever from Governor Pritzker opposing parole. When you kill a police officer, it's an unforgivable crime. My message to the governor would be shame on you.
Punish J.B. Pritzker for releasing a cop killer. Paid for by people who play by the rules pack.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The legendary voice of St. Louis, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Are you tired of paying fees and commissions year after year, even when you lose your money? How would you like to decrease fees and limit your risk? Join me, Ben Coons, for the Retirement and Income Radio Show, heard here every Saturday at 3 p.m. on KMOX Radio. You can also call me now for your complimentary retirement and income book at 844-513-SAFE. That's 844-513-7233.
This is Corey from Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Your HVAC system is one of the biggest investments you have in your home, and it impacts your comfort every day. If you need a new HVAC system, contact us for a free estimate to see if you qualify for 0% financing for up to 72 months. And for a limited time, you can get double Carrier Cool Cash rebates for up to $3,500 in savings. With over 50 years of award-winning service, you can trust Air Comfort Service with your HVAC system. For details and to get in your comfort zone, visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 12 noon, it's a cloudy sky and 75 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun. The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Our top story this hour, there's a march planned by students at Central Visual and Performing Arts High School in response to the shooting they experienced. It's slated for Sunday at 1:45 p.m. at the school's track field. They plan to advocate for gun control legislation while honoring the memories of teacher Jean Kazika and student Alexandria Bell and the student and faculty survivors. Early voting trends in St. Louis County hint at high turnout among Republicans ahead of Tuesday's election.
This is Kevin Killeen at St. Louis County election headquarters, where they say they are seeing some interesting trends in early voting. Since October 25th, when the early voting started, 32,000 people have voted. That's a big increase from recent elections. And also they say there's heavy turnout in the Republican-leaning West County area, about 25% of the total from there, and lower turnouts in Democratic-leaning North County, only about 10% from there. All told, when the voters show up on Tuesday, officials are predicting 45 to 55% voter turnout.
Twitter began widespread layoffs today as new owner Elon Musk overhauls the social platform. Musk did not confirm or correct investor Ron Barron at a conference stage in New York today when he asked Musk how much money the billionaire Tesla CEO would save after he fired half of Twitter today. Twitter's roughly 7,500 employees have been experiencing or expecting layoffs since Musk took helm of the company. Already, Musk has fired top executives. Federal investigators have identified a suspect they say made online threats against synagogues in New Jersey. WCBS reporter Tony Aiello is outside a synagogue in Newark with details.
There's still a lot unknown about this situation with the threat. The FBI said the source of the threat no longer poses a danger, so it's not clear if an arrest was made.
A law enforcement official told the Associated Press that investigators don't think he had the means or motive to carry out any specific attack. The rate of deaths that can be directly linked to alcohol rose nearly 30% in the U.S. during the first year of the COVID-19 pandemic. Marianne Spencer is a federal government statistician.
This is a national study on alcohol-induced deaths that includes the first year of the COVID-19 pandemic between 2019 and 2020.
The rate of alcohol-induced deaths have been increasing about 7% or less annually. That increased to 26% in 2020. That's the highest rate in at least 40 years. The First Mid-Bank and Trust business desk, Starbucks, is getting a boost thanks to one spicy drink.
Pumpkin spice isn't just a welcome fall treat for customers at Starbucks. It's a big boost for the company's bottom line. Starbucks says fall drinks led to its highest ever sales week when they were introduced last month. Sales of hot and cold pumpkin spice increased 17% in the coffee giant's fiscal fourth quarter. Customers keep buying despite higher prices. They're up about 6% over the past year. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
The Dow from Stifel's up 25 points to 32,026. We've got a crash on 141 going north at 55. It's got the three right lanes closed. 141 north at I-55. The three right lanes are closed.
Partly sunny, breezy, and very warm this afternoon. High 81. Windy and mild tonight with clouds. There will be some rain, especially after midnight. Some of the rain could be heavy with even a gusty thunderstorm in spots. Low 54. This is AccuWeather's Brian Thompson on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Right now it's a cloudy sky. 75 Florissant, 77 St. Peter's, 75 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
Charging a cell phone can be like getting a booster shot. A booster is given to enhance or restore protection after a primary series vaccination, which wanes over time. Schedule an appointment when you are eligible. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than $4? 314-441-4444.
All right, 12:04 on the show. Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores, Kevin Wheeler with you here. Mike Claiborne's going to be joining us at 12:30. We'll talk about a few different things there. A little baseball, and I don't know. We always kind of go different directions with Claibs. We'll see where we go with that coming up 12:30. This is where we recap some of the top stories of the day. We had Hancock and Kelly in at the beginning of the show, largely talking about Election Day next week. And I think, most of what we're seeing now is just kind of would you guys agree that kind of the calm before the storm? I mean, the ads aren't calm, but there's not a lot I would think is going to change here. It doesn't sound like there's very many unpredictable races. What are there, maybe 2 or 3 that we're following that could swing either direction? But for the most part, it seems like we kind of know where this is headed.
Yeah, we do. And I mean, there are still some contested areas. I mean, whether we're talking about locally or across the country. I did get an update from our good buddy Chris Kerber, who's play-by-play announcer. And so he did early voting today at Daniel Boone Library, in West County. And he said the line was quite long, but the poll workers were so efficient that it moved super quickly. He said he was in and out in 25 minutes. So even with a line that looks visibly long, and I think that's encouraging. So if you are thinking, okay, I'm going to go vote, and again, in St. Louis County, you can go to any polling station and go ahead and vote. And even if the line looks long, it looks like people are moving quickly.
I do not worry so much about the state of Missouri. I don't worry about Illinois. I don't worry about the states where we pretty much know how things are going to fall. What concerns me is how things are going to go down next week in Pennsylvania, in Arizona, in Georgia, all the states that are contested.
Mm-hmm.
I'm concerned about how that's going to look, how Election Day is going to look.
You
what
mean
sorts
in terms of like visually? You mean in terms
all
of
of it.
outcomes or just the whole?
Well, I'm not.
of it?
Well, outcomes, of course, but I'm talking about how the process goes, whether or not there's violence, whether or not people feel intimidated, feel like they can't get their vote in, don't want to go to the polling place, whatever it is, or have a difficult time getting their votes in for stupid reasons. I don't know. I feel concerned about what might happen in those swing states. But I'm not worried about Missouri. I think any state that is kind of decided, I don't think you have to worry about.
Yeah, locally, there's one race being really contested, right?
Yeah.
Hancock and Kelly mentioned like a week ago.
Right. Was that the Creve Coeur Olivet area?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right? Am I thinking of that
that's
right?
with George Aruza, that race.
Yeah. Now, the Fetterman-Oz debates and that race has been garnering a lot of attention.
Yeah.
Oprah Winfrey has recently thrown her support behind John Fetterman.
Wait, not behind
Dr. Oz?
The guy that she made famous.
That's exactly right. Yes, she is supporting Fetterman, not Dr. Oz. Here's the thing, too. Just because, and I'm not saying, I don't even know, is Dr. Oz a real doctor?
Yeah.
Why do I throw that into question? But just because somebody is good at something, like being a doctor, or, and I'm not even sure, I know he's endorsed some questionable products, but like,
he is a retired cardiothoracic surgeon.
There you go.
Yeah.
So even if you are a great surgeon or a great football player, it doesn't necessarily mean you'll be a great politician. And I'm not sure why people who have their status in one area saying, I'm an expert as a doctor, I'm a great football player, that I'll be a great politician as well. That does not follow.
At this point, the standard really isn't whether or not we think they'll be good. The standard typically is, are they on my team?
Yeah.
Right.
That's pretty much where we are in 2022. It's funny, we're wrapping up the scandals conversation last segment, and near the end of it, we got a text that said, I'm just curious, would all of those scandals you mentioned even be a big deal from 2016 on? And no, that was kind of the fun of it, because if they happened now, people would be like, okay. I mean, like Matt Gaetz is being accused of, like giving teenage girls money for sex. Now, it hasn't been proven. He has not been found guilty.
But that would have been enough.
It hasn't kept him off the campaign trail.
That would have been enough 10 years ago, 15 years ago to take you out. Like you're done.
Yeah.
You have nothing left. Now, I think there's one major reason that the environment exists today the way it does, and that is there are major media outlets that are safe harbor for people like this. So if you've done something wrong, clearly done something wrong, or allegedly something very bad, there is a major network that will defend you. And it used to be that the networks, there were like 3 of them, and they would not. They would assess, like if the Joe McCarthy thing was going on now, there would be a major network that would be going to bat for Joe McCarthy. There's no doubt in my mind. And that's part of the problem, because they can double down now on their terribleness when they used to get held accountable. And it's just not that way anymore.
Well, and I think part of that is because the greater threat we deem the other side, the more we're willing to overlook on our own side. We could say, yeah, this guy's bad, but this is what we need to defend, and you can't compare it to this or that. And it becomes very much a team sport where you're able to overlook some glaring shortcomings, at best would be the best way to put them, on your side. The issue here, too, is character and competency don't seem to matter quite as much as loyalty. Loyalty to whatever cause you think you're pushing for. Think of it this way. Now, Eric Greitens did not win, right, in Missouri to run for Senate. He did not win that Republican nomination. However, we were talking about whether or not he could. This is a man who had an affair, who took questionable pictures of the person he was having the affair with, whether it was blackmail or threatening to ruin her career. His wife, Sheena Greitens, came out and said, yes, we have documentation that he was physically abusive to them, to her children. And also the whole dark money issue with his so-called charity. That, all of that combined, we were still like, man, I really hope he doesn't win. Could he win? It takes an awful lot to disqualify someone these days from running.
Well,
the fact that Herschel Walker, and people are excusing his actions.
Let me throw something out there. What's Madison Cawthorn doing right now?
He is out. He's gone.
Yes, and do you know why I think he's out? Because he may have exposed people in his own party, and they don't like that. Like, that's the way you get yourself ousted, is if you start messing with people in your own party.
With the cocaine and hookers?
Yeah.
I don't think that was happening.
But
he
who
wasn't
knows?
being
Who
invited
knows?
to the cocaine and hooker
Whether
party.
it was or wasn't, the fact that he turned
went
the
after them.
attention to people that were in his own party definitely is a big part of why he ended up being.
If he had not done that, I still think he'd be on the tour.
See,
He'd still
I
be
think
on the
he was
circuit.
Such a tryhard that he couldn't even hang with the Republicans, and he was such a tryhard that he was exaggerating stories like, yeah, you guys don't know. You know what it's like. There's cocaine and hookers.
Whether it's
No,
true or not
there's not.
isn't really the point. It's that he turned the attention on his own.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right.
Well,
I mean,
if he had not done that,
because he
they
provided
would've lived-
no evidence of any of it.
they
He
would
just
have-
threw it out there.
they would have lived with all of the other nonsense and maybe even defended the nonsense until he tried to throw people in his own party under the bus.
And I honestly, I don't even believe his story.
I don't either. I
just
think
don't. I think he just
he's
made
very
it up.
clearly a liar.
Yeah, you think he just made it up
Yeah.
because it sounded good and he was
Yeah.
trying to prop himself up. But when you go against the family, and I don't think that's a Republican thing. I think that's a Republican and Democratic thing too. When you go against the family disowns you.
Mhm.
That's all, because loyalty matters more than qualifications, than what. I mean, again, I don't know, maybe it's old timey, but we just listed a couple of people who were completely disqualified for having affairs before they were in office.
Yeah.
I guess apparently, but Bill Clinton proved that once you're in office, well, we'll deal with it. We're not going to demand anything there. But if it's before you're in, well, then that's disqualifying.
Yeah, it's just interesting, again, how character and competence are not the heaviest weighted characteristics of a candidate. Now, a lot of it has to be with loyalty. A lot of it has to go along with just how bad the other side is. There's this sense that it's a good versus evil on the right, kind of like God versus the godless. I do think that's why this whole idea of taking back America, it's Robert Draper, who's a historian and has written multiple books, phrased it that this idea the narrative of taking back America for our values, for who we are. They're trying to steal the American ideal. That's one reason why the whole idea of stealing the election was such a natural narrative, such a natural stream for that language to go down. Okay, they're stealing the country, they're stealing the elections. I think people bought into that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna go to the next thing now.
All right. Well, we can do that, or we can just sit here and be awkwardly quiet.
I think we should do that. We should just sit quietly.
You know what? I wish
just let it go for 5 seconds.
I wish when we were in the middle of the break, we would sit here quietly.
That's not possible.
Yeah.
It's not possible.
Yes, I know.
Hey, did we let people know that
What?
with everything that's going down on Twitter and the massive layoffs, and we are going to have a guest, Jeremy Owens from Market Watch, will be joining us at 1:00 to discuss the details, what we know, how many people are losing jobs, whether or not those people are getting severance, or whether they're being fired, quote, with cause. Elon is trying to fire people with cause, so he does not have to pay them severance.
Funny, he's torpedoing his own business, and now he's trying to save money.
The worst.
All right, we'll get to that coming up 1:00. Mike Claiborne's going to join us just after 12:30 here on the show.
We're days away from the midterms that will impact the direction of this country. You're being bombarded with messages. Good luck sifting through the information yourself.
When I do a search on Google and you do a search on Google, we're getting very different results.
What are media outlets responsible for?
You hold your nose and you air the ad.
Information, misinformation, disinformation, and the midterms coverage you'll find only on KMOX.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Alexi Giannoulias' past is littered with scandals, fiscal mismanagement, and shady behavior. As state treasurer, he lost over $150 million of college savings funds with risky investments. And his family bank was seized after loans were made to Russian mafia members.
I'm Dan Brady, and I have a plan to improve the Secretary of State's office by cutting wait lines, increasing senior services, and reducing license plate renewal fees. We need someone we can trust as our next Secretary of State, and that's me, Dan Brady.
Paid for by friends of Dan Brady.
If you're concerned about the current market and the 40-year record high inflation that we're seeing, you're not alone.
Credit card usage skyrocketing and at record highs, savings rates plunging. It's 100% certainty that you're in recession now.
The good news is, for decades, Steve All and his team have been helping people just like you protect and grow your income. And most importantly, not run out of money.
My clients that are currently sitting there on guaranteed incomes, they're not really worried about what's happening in the market. So they're more at peace because every month that paycheck comes in.
Call Steve today for your customized market protection plan, 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824. Or visit yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, LLC. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance products, including annuities. Licensed in Missouri and Illinois.
Like a personal shopper, Health Markets can help find a Medicare Advantage plan that's right for you. Enrollment ends December 7th. Visit healthmarkets.com/easy. Health Markets Insurance Agency Incorporated is licensed as an insurance agency in all 50 states and D.C. Not all agents are licensed to sell all products. Service and product availability varies by state. Sales agents may be compensated based on a consumer's enrollment in a health plan. No obligation to enroll. Information provided is limited to plans offered in your area. We do not offer every plan available in your area. Any information we provide is limited to those plans we do offer in your area. Please contact Medicare.gov or 1-800-MEDICARE to get information on all of your options.
If you own a house in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is without any inspections or the need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes St. Louis at 314-328-8000 or at chrisbuyshomes.louis.com and get your cash offer without any obligations, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant houses, inherited houses, fixer-uppers, beautiful houses, even the tenant won't pay the rent apartment. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis, and check out the best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to chrisbuyshomesinstlouis.com. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis or call 314-328-8000. That's 314-328-8000. Call Chris and get the offer you've been waiting for. Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis.com. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis.com or call 314-328-8000.
Local news and information direct to your smart speaker. Just say, play KMOX.
By 12:20 on the show, Chris Ranji, Amy Marks, Scores, Kevin Wheeler with you here. We've had a disturbing number of segments in the last couple of weeks about anti-Semitism. When we talked about it earlier this week, we did mention, of course, that a lot of that has started with Kanye West and his own words, and then of course now Kyrie Irving of the New Jersey Nets has been kind of in a similar light because of things he has. I don't know how people put this. He's pushing back on the idea that he's endorsing things by retweeting them, but he retweeted a video, which is, I think there are a couple interesting conversations to have about this video because it's streaming on Amazon. So this thing that's pretty terrible is out there and nobody's giving Amazon a hard time about it. But I do agree that Kyrie Irving retweeting it is saying, hey, people, this is interesting. You should check it out. So he's promoting something that is very much seen in the world as anti-Semitic. I haven't seen the movie. I don't want to see it. I've read about the ideas in it. And obviously I've read what people who understand history have said about it.
Yeah.
And therefore I don't need to see it because that's what everybody's saying is, and it's what he's saying. Don't judge it until you see it. No, I can listen to educated historians who understand these concepts tell me that something is BS before I have to see it.
Yeah, and it's like 3 hours long and apparently terribly edited and just a bunch of stuff thrown at the wall, Hitler quotes thrown in there. It's just by all accounts not good. And I trust that it's not good. Just like you said, from the people who study and know this stuff, I don't think I need to watch it to know that it's absolute nonsense. And the concept in the movie, the documentary, is that black people are the true Jews and that Jewish people don't have any claim for Israel. And it's absolute nonsense. It's stupid. It's very, very stupid. And Kyrie Irving is one of those people that believes he is the smartest person in the room. And if you listen to him interact with the media, who are asking him rightfully about this, about him sharing an Alex Jones story. If you hear him interact and you see the look on his face, he looks at everybody in the room like he's smarter than them. Like, I know something and you are just not ready to know this and you're all sheep and you can never possibly understand what I understand. But in reality, he's kind of a big, dumb idiot. And it's one of the most dangerous kinds of people that you can have, this person who believes they're supremely intelligent and understands concepts that you will never get because you're not thinking on the plane that he is. But he's not.
I mean,
he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's an idiot.
Yeah.
Kyrie Irving is an idiot who somehow went to Duke. He's just
because he's good at sports.
Because he's good at basketball. But so basically the New Jersey Nets were concerned with the way he's been talking, and they worked with him and they asked him to denounce anti-Semitism, to just say, I'm not anti-Semitic. And he was asked this question by reporters yesterday, and here's how he responded.
Again, I'm going to repeat. I don't know how the label becomes justified because you guys ask me the same questions over and over again. But this is not going to turn into a spin around cycle, questions upon questions. I told you guys how I felt. I respect all walks of life and embrace all walks of life. That's where I sit.
I think what people want to hear, though, is just a yes or no on that question. Yes or no.
I cannot be anti-Semitic if I know where I come from. I cannot be anti-Semitic if I know where I come from.
So that response obviously did not get a good response from the Anti-Defamation League. It did not get a good response from the NBA. He's been suspended for no less than 5 games. Basically, guys, because he doesn't want to say he's sorry or acknowledge that he shared something.
He did, by the way, never apologized.
No,
I think what his response says is, I am anti-Semitic. I'm just not going to explicitly
Well,
say so.
I don't think he thinks he is.
No.
It's kind of that. I'm sorry, this is not a funny topic, but it's kind of that Seinfeld Costanza. If you believe it, it's not a lie.
Right.
I think he believes that what he's saying is true, because that's how he is with almost everything. All the goofy things that he believes. I think he believes that. He doesn't understand the context. He doesn't understand how sharing that kind of link, how sharing Alex Jones or sharing the other things that he gets into, he doesn't understand that it is what it is. He doesn't think it's anti-Semitic, which is why he won't apologize for it. But it obviously is if you understand history.
He's the kind of person who goes down YouTube rabbit holes and thinks that he's discovered some truth. Like it's very cliche, because all of these people who look at themselves as free thinkers all end up in the same place. All of them.
Yeah.
None of them have any new ideas that are actually thought-provoking, like, oh, okay, I can see where you're coming from. It's all nonsense. And I know this is a sports figure, and this is not really a sports show, but he is somebody with influence, and he has a lot of Instagram followers and Twitter followers and people that listen to him, which is why the idea of promoting. And by the way, Nick Friedel, who's an NBA reporter, really good. He's awesome. Had an exchange with him last week about the Alex Jones video that he shared on his social media. And Nick said, you promoted this video. And he's like, what do you mean I promoted? I didn't promote anything. He's too dumb to understand that when you put something on your social media that millions of people see, that's promotion. And that's why this matters.
Right.
That's why you're sharing this with people who would have otherwise not seen it. No one would have ever seen this terrible documentary by what's the guy's name? Robert Dalton, I think is who made it. But anyway, that he doesn't quite get really basic concepts here.
He did apologize on Instagram last night.
Well, finally.
Yes, I know. It took him being suspended by the NBA for him to apologize, but he did. Here's what he acknowledged on Instagram. He said, I posted a documentary that contained some false anti-Semitic statements, narratives, and language that were untrue and offensive to the Jewish race/religion. I take full accountability and responsibility for my actions. He went on and apologized to the Jewish community, said, for those that are hurt, I am deeply sorry to have caused you pain, and I apologize. So it's a longer statement, but those are kind of the core things in the apology. And if he had said that 2 days ago, this story's over.
Yeah.
He's only doing it now because, honestly, that sounds like, somebody who he works with is like, dude, you got to do this now because you're going to be suspended for a long, long time.
Well, this is a guy who refused to get vaccinated, so he couldn't play in New York because he stood by his beliefs. And that, he's
got wackadoodle beliefs. I do think the rise of anti-Semitism is part of a much bigger trend, and there's anti-Semitism on all sides. Again, Yair Rosenberg has written about it and how it has, whether it's Louis Farrakhan or you have Charlottesville, you're seeing anti-Semitism on all fronts. A lot of people are open about it, the way Kyrie Irving is being very bizarre with his statements. Yair Rosenberg wrote in The Atlantic, he said, Jewish people make up 2% of the American population and just 0.2% of the world population. In practice, this means most people have never met a Jewish person. And what you have with these conspiracies is people are learning about Judaism and Jewish people, not from Jewish people themselves, but through the warped worldview of their despisers.
Yeah, good way to put it. That's a really good quote. All right, Mike Claiborne's going to join us when we come back on the show.
I only know what life looks like and feels like through my eyeballs.
It's my life.
I wonder if anyone is where they thought they would be. I'm not where I thought I would be even 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Life changes so much. Hey, make your plans, do what you want to do, whether it's marriage or kids or your job or your health.
Discover the life of Dave Glover.
I'm surprised at how surprising life is.
Weekday afternoons beginning at 2, only on KMOX.
KMOX News Time is 12:29. Donate a car, get a tax receipt, and tickets to the St. Louis Aquarium at mersgoodwill.org.
I'm Tim Fitch, former chief of the St. Louis County Police Department. At a time when violent crime threatens our kids and our communities, we need tough leaders who will stand against criminals and with our men and women in law enforcement. That's why I support Dennis Hancock for St. Louis County Council. Dennis Hancock is endorsed by the St. Louis County Fraternal Order of Police. His opponent? She's backed by groups that want to defund the police. As the mayor of Fenton, Dennis Hancock didn't make excuses for criminals, he locked them up. Dennis proudly worked with law enforcement to keep our streets and our families safe. And that's exactly what he'll do on the St. Louis County Council. I hope you'll join me in supporting Dennis Hancock this November.
Dennis Hancock for St. Louis County Council. Reform St. Louis County Now is responsible for the content of this advertising. Paid for by Reform St. Louis County Now, firesampage.com, and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
At 12:30, it's mostly cloudy and 75 degrees downtown at the Arch. A Donald Trump loyalist has been acquitted at a federal trial in which he was accused of using his access to the former president to secretly promote the interests of the United Arab Emirates. A jury in Brooklyn deliberated 3 days before finding Tom Barrack not guilty of acting as an unregistered agent of a foreign government, obstruction of justice, and making false statements. Some billionaire bigwigs may want to buy the Washington Commanders.
Jeff Bezos and Jay-Z have now thrown their names into the pot. Bezos has ties to D.C. He owns the Washington Post. Then there's the deal his company Amazon recently signed with the NFL to broadcast Thursday Night Football. Jay-Z's company Rock Nation Sports represents several NFL athletes. He's also the live music entertainment strategist for the league. It's still unclear if either has spoken to owner Dan Snyder or his wife. Stacey Lynn, CBS News, Washington.
The first Hard Pressed Cider Fest is this weekend at Eckert's Farm in Belleville. It's an indoor-outdoor event in Eckert's new cider shed, the 3,500 square foot edition. There's live music, a variety of retailers, a cider donut eating contest, and area chefs and restaurant offering items made with Eckert's apples, apple cider, or apple butter. And there's a crash on 55 North before Merrimack Bottom. The left lane is closed. Some debris to watch out for. 270 East at West Florissant and a stall 70 East at 5th Street on the right shoulder. Times of clouds and sun this afternoon. Breezy and warm with a high of 81. Overnight periods of rain, low 54. Tomorrow an early shower in spots, otherwise windy, cooler with some sunshine tomorrow, a high of 63. It's 75 downtown at the Arch now. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Business is difficult right now, putting a lot of good workers at risk. If you're a business that needs flexibility with your workforce and don't want to lose your best employees, go to sharedwork.mo.gov and see what the Missouri Department of Labor can do for you.
Driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
CertaPro commercial painters have powers beyond those of ordinary painters.
Power of minimal disruption.
We work with you to ensure a smooth project.
The power of making you look good.
Making sure it's done right, on time and within budget, so every property manager looks like a hero. That's CertaPro painters.
The power of pro.
Get your project started at CertaPro.com.
Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
It's Chiefs football Sunday night as they take on the Titans at Arrowhead. Hear the game here. Pre-game coverage at 6. Kickoff 7:20. Touchdown! Kansas City! On your home for Chiefs football, KMOX.
At 12:33 on the show, Chris Rongiemi, Mark Scores, Kevin Wheeler with you here. Our buddy Mike Claiborne is joining us for his regular Friday visit. Oh, Claibs, how are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. I've just assembled something. I'm not very good at stuff.
Oh.
But I think I got this figured out.
What did you assemble?
Yeah, what is it?
A light.
Oh, like a lamp?
Yeah.
Well done, Mike.
Well, I guess I'll know when I turn it on to see if I actually knew what I was doing.
So when you say assemble, you don't mean like plug in, right?
No, I had to unpack it and screw this in and turn that there and do a thing over there and right over So all I'm waiting now is when we're done with this, I'm gonna plug it in and see what happens.
Let me tell you what I did one time. I went to IKEA and I bought a wardrobe. You know, those they're like closets, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
And they're kind of big.
Oh, yeah.
It was a 2-person job because that's what the little characters on the instructions said.
Yeah.
Did it all by myself.
Nice.
Wow. Good for you,
What do you think of that, Mike?
I'm impressed.
Thank you.
Now, I gotta tell you something. Now, I love doing things like that with my significant, assembling, working together, and putting it all together. You feel like you've accomplished something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and I always realize that she's smarter than me.
Well,
Well,
when you do it
good.
all by yourself, you realize you don't need anybody else.
And look,
Yeah, but I
and
like-
you're
And now,
right,
and now
you're
that's
living it
why
out.
that's why I live alone.
Well, that's one reason.
Yeah, thanks, Claves.
Yeah,
That's not very nice.
Well, I said something nice about you earlier. I said
Yeah.
something was a not bad thing about you, and I don't remember what it was.
That's all right.
Yeah.
But one a day is all
you
you're allowed.
say it so infrequently that you
Yeah.
forgot.
I know.
It should carry more meaning that way, though.
I really just take a pounding on this show.
Yeah, you're kind of right about
Yeah.
that. You do
Stop
get,
it.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Don't
It's not
dish it
very
out.
nice. I'm not in therapy or anything.
Not
Anyway,
yet.
hey, Claves, why is Kyrie Irving such a big dumb idiot?
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up. I'm talking to one of my good buddies today, Demetrius Johnson, and he said it better than anything I've ever heard. He said, "Man, there's something wrong with that dude." It was the way he said it that I couldn't stop laughing because he's right. And anybody who knows me knows I am not a Kyrie Irving fan. He's done so many things in the past, on and off the court, and he keeps getting opportunities. But I think we're at a point now with him. Okay, enough is enough. And the league, I'm disappointed in the league because I don't think 5 games is enough. We've seen this league be very progressive in listening to its players, standing up with their players on social issues that go on in this country. They've gotten 2 owners to sell their teams because they crossed that line. And all you're going to say to this guy is you get 5 games off without pay. I just think it's all wrong. And I'm disappointed in the Players Association. And by the way, he's the vice president of the Players Association. And I'm disappointed in the NBA because they didn't take more action against a person who has a history of disruption.
Claves, this is a cynical take on my part, but I've said this for a long time. If you're really good at throwing a ball, whether it's a basketball or a baseball or a football, if you're good with that, it covers a multitude of sins. Because if you're winning, if you're a good player, people need to turn the leagues want to turn a blind eye to your actions.
There's no doubt. And you pick a sport and I'll show you somebody who's crossed that line. But I think here's the thing we should all pay attention to. He's an unrestricted free agent after this year. He's making $36 million a year. I don't think he's going to get a job in the NBA next year because I think the baggage that comes with him on the court, off the court, his social views and just his views about the world, I think people have had enough of it. And the league will go on without him. His team will go on without him. And, because he barely plays in the first place. Last year was a good example where he decided not to take the shot and really let his team down. Another year, he just took some personal time away from the game. In the middle of the season, I just need to clear my head. And I understand how we deal with mental health issues. We moved him further toward the middle of the table now. But this guy's just been bad news everywhere he's been. And I just don't think there's a place for him anymore.
When you look at these leagues and how they don't take action against star players, we can bring up Deshaun Watson in the NFL. Do you think that is the league saying this is going to be, well, let me rephrase this. Do you think this is a short-term hit, meaning a few of us will talk about it, but as long as the guy wins, the NFL will get a pass? Or do you think this is a risk that they're taking that will hurt them down the road as they continue to overlook players and having troublesome pasts?
Well, I think there's going to be more accountability by the league and its players association. And the NBA is at a very interesting crossroads because they're finishing up a 9-year, $24 billion TV deal. Okay. The bidding, from what I've been told, for the next TV contract will start at $60 billion. Think about that. It starts at $60 billion. So this is a league that wants to make sure that it has an image to support the investment. And to have a guy like this around is something that they probably could do without. I think that we have a lot more good players that are good citizens off the court and on the court that they can certainly build around. You don't need Kyrie Irving. And I think leagues and players are starting to come together and figure this out that, you know what, we don't need it.
The other part of this, and you hit on it, Claves, is that, one of the things that's valued most in sports is being a good teammate, is being there for your teammates, not bringing any extra headaches. We've heard all along how many coaches, how many players want to avoid distractions. They want to avoid the guy that's the me guy. And when you combine just that simple element with a guy that's always going bigger than that too, right? I mean, it takes something to get this kind of attention. You've got to be a special kind of disruptor to get this kind of attention.
Yeah, and you know what, Kevin? He's been enabled all of his life. I mean, he's been the prodigy at every level of basketball. And, I think it gives him the feeling that he can say and do anything with no accountability. And, I think people just get a little tired of it because the investment that people have made in him, the result isn't as great as you think it is. I mean, he's a really good player. But with all the baggage that comes with it, you just don't need it. You can move on and do something else. I mean, there's more Golden State Steph Currys of the world than this guy, who, by the way, I think the first eyebrow he raised recently was when he said the world's still flat.
Yeah.
So now you know what you're dealing with, which takes me back to Demetrius Johnson said, there's something wrong with this dude.
Yeah. I mean, and it's, I'm trying to, and this has probably just been kind of a gradual thing because you don't know who somebody surrounds themselves with. And Raj pointed out earlier, you get down a certain rabbit hole on YouTube and it's going to take you to another branch and another branch. And now all of a sudden you've got all kinds of crazy thoughts. But when he was a young guy, none of this was a thing. I mean, he was going.
It all went downhill after Uncle Drew.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. He's Uncle Drew. He's out there dressed up, having fun, and doing something that made. Amy's looking at us like we're crazy. He dressed up like an older guy, like a 50, 60-year-old man in costume, and he went out to the playground and played basketball, and he was dunking on people. He looked like he was 60, but he was schooling people, and it was a funny video. It actually turned into a movie.
So that was his name, Uncle Drew?
That was the name of the character that he was playing. And it started off as was it a shoe commercial or a Gatorade thing? I want to say it started off as a commercial. Yeah. Started off as a commercial, and it was kind of like, we're going to dress Kyrie up as an old guy, and then he's going to go out and play on the playground, and he's going to school all these dudes. And it was hilarious. I thought it was really funny, but we've gone from that's where he was. He was there. Didn't that become a movie? Was it him and who was the other? Was it him and
LeBron?
Shaq? Oh, him and LeBron. So this was a thing that was like fun and yet a young, exciting player, and not that far down the road later, we are here.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate situation. You think about him and Kanye West, and you just say, dude, what is it? I mean, you got the world in the palm of your hands. And I think the only way you can impact people like this is, the endorsements and those things have to go away. As I mentioned, he's unrestricted after this year. It'll be interesting to see if a team dares to sign him, knowing his baggage, because this story won't go away.
No.
Okay. I mean, he opened up this can, and now he's going to have to eat every bite out of it because it's not going to go away tomorrow. If he comes out and apologizes, and I thought what was insulting, $500,000 he's going to write out to the ADL.
Yeah.
You make $36 million, and you think $500,000 is going to make this go away? Come on, man.
And they turned it down, by the way.
Absolutely.
And his only apology, Klebs, I had to read this last segment. It came like late last night on Instagram. So
very late.
When he was on camera, he just basically said, I don't think I did anything wrong. But then he gets later on, and I'm sure people are in his ear telling him, Kyrie, you're messing up, man, and this suspension is going to be forever. You need to apologize.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Again, I think it's unfortunate that we waste time talking about it, but it's an important subject that he needs to be aware of, and the way he's taken this cavalier approach is not acceptable.
If I'm not mistaken, there was it might have been an Instagram post or a tweet from Kanye last week after Kyrie got that, he got dragged for the exchange with Nick Friedel, the reporter, about the Alex Jones movie. And Kanye was going to show his support to him by tagging him in a post on Instagram, but he couldn't find Kyrie's account. And he said, see, they're already trying to censor him. I can't even find Kyrie. But in the search line, he was spelling Kyrie wrong.
Oh, no.
Which is why I couldn't find him.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just thought that was a really funny thing here. We're dealing with just some real, as I said, big dumb idiots.
Yeah.
You know what? As I was proud of this light installation thing.
Yeah.
I'm going through the manual and then I turn a page and it says software installation.
Oh no,
I just thought I could put it to, I got more to do. So this may not end well.
All right.
Is this a fancy lamp?
Too bad though. You're just gonna have to spend another few minutes with us. So
no, that's fine.
Sorry.
I'm just putting off the inevitable.
You say, well, you might be able to knock that out during the break, but we'll talk a little Cardinals baseball.
No,
when we come
this
back.
looks like this is pretty tough stuff here. It's going to
Yeah.
be more than a commercial break for me to get through it.
All right. Well, then rest up. We'll talk a little Cardinals baseball next. Mike Claiborne joining us here on the show.
Well, if you own a business and you have managed to survive the past couple of years with COVID restrictions and shutdowns and inflation and supply chain issues, I don't need to go on down the list. You could probably use a little bit of a break. Well, the fine folks at getrefunds.com, they can help you out. If your business has 5 or more employees and you've been around for a few years, you could be eligible to receive a payroll tax rebate of up to $26,000 per employee. Now, if you think, probably not, I probably won't qualify because our business took PPP or it's a nonprofit or we actually saw an increase in sales, you actually could still be eligible because businesses of all types can qualify. The team of tax attorneys they have put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program and have already returned $1 billion to businesses, and they can help you too. To find out if your business qualifies, just go to getrefunds.com, click on the Qualify Me tab, and then answer a few questions. That's getrefunds.com.
Alexi Giannoulias' past is littered with scandals, fiscal mismanagement, and shady behavior. As state treasurer, he lost over $150 million of college savings funds with risky investments. And his family bank was seized after loans were made to Russian mafia members.
I'm Dan Brady, and I have a plan to improve the Secretary of State's office by cutting wait lines, increasing senior services, and reducing license plate renewal fees. We need someone we can trust as our next Secretary of State, and that's me, Dan Brady.
Paid for by friends of Dan Brady.
The holidays are upon us. Call Zero Res now before the rush. Get 3 rooms Zero Res clean starting at just $129 and get a free room of fiber protectant for an $80 savings plus $50 off your air ducts. Call 314-474-2020 or book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
Women's health decisions should be between herself and her doctor, not up to politicians like Jennifer Cordy. Cordy won't protect a woman's right to choose. She'll ban it completely. Cordy says women who are raped and then end the pregnancy are making a decision they regret later.
Politicians like Jennifer Cordy will make us less safe and less free. I'm Katie Stewart, candidate for state representative. I'll protect a woman's right to choose and ensure women have access to critical health services. I'm committed to ending violence against women by investing in domestic violence shelters and health care for survivors. I'm Katie Stewart. I'm fighting to make our communities safer. I voted to increase funding for more police and high-tech crime-fighting resources. It's why I've been endorsed by the FOP.
I trust Katie Stewart to make the right choice for all women in the state of Illinois.
I'm Katie Stewart. I'm focused on real results for our families. Paid for by Friends for Katie Stewart.
Is your bank, brokerage, or your insurance company telling you to buy an annuity? They may have limited access to the best rates available. You need solutions, not someone pitching you a specific product. Call for your complimentary retirement and income book at 844-513-SAFE. That's 844-513-7233. And also join me, Ben Coons, for the Retirement and Income Radio Show, heard here every Saturday at 3 p.m. on KMOX Radio.
Get 4 tickets to the St. Louis Aquarium when you donate your car to Goodwill. It's easy, towing is free, and you'll get a tax receipt too. Dive in and check it out at mersgoodwill.org.
Give hope. Give local. Give Goodwill.
Furnish hope right here in St. Louis. Donate your unneeded furniture and household goods to Home Sweet Home. Visit www.homesweethomestl.org to learn more.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444. Back to the show.
Yeah, the show!
With Amy, Chris, and Kevin on KMOX.
Mike Claiborne's with us on the show, and obviously, Claibs, we'll get to the Cardinals in a second, but we had a swing game, Game 5 of the World Series yesterday, went to the Astros. What are you taking away from what we've seen so far in the Fall Classic?
Some pretty good baseball.
I agree.
I've enjoyed it. They have been fun. I mean, we've seen some good pitching, some really good pitching, and we've seen some timely hitting. Neither team is beating themselves with sloppy play. One team is just a little bit better than the other. I still like Houston to win the whole thing well before last night, but it's been a good series. I've enjoyed it. And I think the good players have been able to step up and contribute. And that's always fun to look at the guys who you pay a lot of money to step up and do what you pay them to do.
As you watch these two teams play, I believe that there's a difference between a really good regular season team and a really good playoff team. And sometimes they're the same. Sometimes those teams have both things. And I know there's variance in the postseason, but it's not a secret as to why Houston is in another World Series. They're good. But as you watch these two teams play, is there something that as you watch, you think that's something the Cardinals can do or need to do?
Oh, I don't know. I think that when I look at Houston's bullpen, they just push a button and some guy comes out and gets somebody out. I also think that their lineups are a little longer as far as productivity is concerned. And, you don't see an easy out in either batting order. And not to say that they're all murderers row, but they give you good quality at bats. But I think any team who gets this far and gets to the World Series, you're going to probably say that about every team that gets this far in the season.
All right, Claib. So the World Series ends at the latest on Sunday. Next week, we begin the offseason. Next week, we have the general managers meetings. How soon do you think the Cardinals act on any of their biggest offseason goals? Do you think it's something quick, like a trade, or does this drag out a little bit when it comes to the search for the catcher, another bat, whatever?
Well, that's a good question, because in the past, the Cardinals have been, in some cases, aggressive early, and then sometimes they've let the market come to them. I think in this situation, you have so many different scenarios you could play with as far as how do you get a catcher? What do you do about shortstop? Do we need more pitching? And there's so many ways you can acquire those assets that I think that they want to make sure they throw enough things on the wall and figure out what works best for them fiscally. Also, what works best for them as far as their future is concerned, because they've got some young prospects that are knocking at the door to be part of this team within the next year, if not sooner. So they've got to make sure that they have their true ducks in a row before they push the button. But I think that knowing what their issues are, why not just go out and get it done and move on?
Claibs, I don't know how much you've been following the NHL or the St. Louis Blues, but man, they're struggling a little bit. 6 losses in a row and not looking good in those losses. You're struggling to find a positive in the games. They've really not looked good at all.
No, you're right, Amy. I think if they had lost 6 in a row and maybe they lost a couple in overtime, or they played well and just couldn't, score late, I'd say, okay, they're getting outplayed every night.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no fire. There's nobody that's upset about how this thing is working, at least visibly. We don't see it. I don't know what's going on in the dressing room. But, they don't do anything to make me feel like they're committed. There's no physical play. The skating isn't what it needs to be. A lot of backdoor, weak side goals given up, which means somebody's not coming back to help out. And I think Jordan Bennington's played reasonably well so far.
Yeah.
But he's not getting any help. And I'm not saying that you have to blow this team up, because I think it's way too early for that, because this was a good team on paper when we saw it at the beginning of the year.
Right.
And they just didn't get bad overnight. And I know some would say, oh, they missed David Perron. Hey, one guy isn't the problem with this hockey team. This is a team effort, because very few people on this team are playing well. And the only way they have to be better at this is play harder and keep it simple. Not get caught up into trying to overdo things and play out of your skill set. Just go out and play. That's why you're here, because we think you're a good hockey player. So just do what we expect you to do, and you should be okay. Now, easier said than done, but because this is hard to watch, what we're seeing now with this team. And because we haven't seen it in a long, long time. But I believe in the staff. I believe in the coaching. I believe in management, and I believe in the players. And I'm confident that they'll figure it out. But I think they're going to need a little help. They need a little sandpaper, Amy. They need somebody that gets them pissed off. And the other team comes to St. Louis and says, "Oh man, we got to play the Blues."
Right.
They don't want to. Everybody wants to come to St. Louis and play the Blues now.
Right.
How about a hot take? Maybe this window is closing and it's time to start thinking about the next phase.
No, I was just going to say
I say maybe.
Yeah.
It's too early to decide that, but just throwing it out there.
Nah.
Well, I think you have some crossroad issues. I don't think there's any doubt. I mean, because this team is not the youngest team in the National Hockey League, but it still has, I think, a team that has enough talent to certainly compete. But they're not the Colorado Avalanche by any means.
No.
You know what happened the last time we were talking about them like this?
Oh, yeah. Worst to first, baby.
Yep. So that's all we need to do is keep on ripping
That's right.
them, right?
Okay.
If we keep on ripping them and talking about how crappy they are, they'll win the Stanley Cup.
That's exactly right. Although there were some interesting words from the general manager, Doug Armstrong, when he said the coach is not going anywhere. Like he went out of his way in that press conference to say, I just want to let you know the coach is not going anywhere. He has made young players better. He's coached veteran players to championships. So if anybody's moving, it won't be Craig Berube.
Yes.
Now, I love what Doug Armstrong did this week, and he addressed the gorilla in the room, or the elephant in the room, or whatever animals in the room.
A sloth, maybe?
Yeah, exactly.
The sloth in the room.
Dumb sloth.
Man, I had a dream about a Gila monster last night.
Did you really?
I did. I don't know why.
You know what's
No, it was a Komodo dragon. That's what I was. I had.
That's way worse.
Yeah, the thing was.
You know, sloths. That's got to be one of the most lovable animals you've ever seen. And we don't talk enough. We don't give sloths the credit that they deserve in our society because they're nice and lovable and slow and you know, they just kind of move around. But point being, I thought Doug Armstrong was really good in addressing the issues that we've all been whispering about, but he decided to address it, and they're going to be all right. Let's give it time.
Claves, great stuff, buddy. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks so much.
You know, I just found out I got to download something that's not going well. So I may be calling back for help here.
Good
Man.
luck. I can't help you.
You're struggling.
All right. You guys have a great weekend.
Mike Claiborne with us on his normal Friday visit. Coming up after the top of the hour news, Jeremy Owens is the tech editor and San Francisco bureau chief for Market Watch. We're talking Twitter after the news on KMOX.
People who shop at Diamonds Direct for diamonds and engagement rings can't believe the prices.
They blew everybody else out of the water.
I saved between $1,500 and $2,000. Came here first, got a really good price, went around everywhere else, and it wasn't really even close.
I'd looked online. I'd actually shopped a couple of local stores. They could not begin to touch the size, the quality, or the pricing.
Crazy the deal that we got. Couldn't believe I was able to get into a ring like this.
Of all the places that I visited, everybody from mom and pop shops to wholesalers to local franchisees, nobody could compete from a pricing standpoint with Diamonds Direct.
It's because Diamonds Direct is a true direct diamond importer with special access to the world's most exquisite diamonds. No middleman markups and a commitment to beat any price, anywhere, anytime.
Whether it be duty-free in the Caribbean or other countries, Diamonds Direct prices have beaten everything I've looked at.
At least 20% lower than what we had been looking at other stores.
They blew everybody else out of the water.
Get the engagement ring of her dreams at the price you deserve. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. DiamondsDirect.com.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. Planning a road trip this fall? Maximize your fuel economy by inflating tires to proper pressure and packing light. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Crime is on the rise in most big cities. Police agencies are losing funding all over the country, and the liberals want to take your guns away. Gun Owners of America Victory Fund is proud to endorse Eric Schmidt for the United States Senate. Eric Schmidt is a proven leader who will stand up to the anti-gun left. We need to be protected from the liberal agenda to destroy the Second Amendment. Eric Schmidt believes in your right to protect yourself and those you love. The Second Amendment matters. Support Eric Schmidt for Senate. Gun Owners of America Victory Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising.
A tradition of excellence over 150 years in the making. At Busey Bank, we're committed to building relationships that span generations. Wherever your journey in life leads you, we are with you along the way, creating a legacy for you and your family. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
All right. Funny story today. What happened at the office? I was trying to shred. It didn't do it. There was no noise. It wasn't doing anything. And Michelle, who is works in the office, she is truly a great employee. She goes, oh yeah, but sometimes if you shake it, she got up, she walked over and she shook it. She goes, now try it. And I put the document in and it worked. And she goes, see, there, fixed. That's the reason she's in the office and she's not one of my techs. That is true. So today, Wednesday, I'm gonna make this month every Wednesday. It's gonna be Michelle Day. Keep up the good work. Now, if you do need something fixed, it will not be Michelle that will be coming out. It'll be me or one of my great techs. So call me, Bart Inman. One easy number in Missouri and Illinois. Just this one number and one name. 314-293-2600 or bartinman.com.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Laurie Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
Join us Sundays at 9:30 a.m. for Your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 1 o'clock, it's a mostly cloudy sky, 78 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun. Our top story this hour. St. Louis County elections directors are responding to a controversy over the new voter ID law.
This is Kevin Killeen at St. Louis County Election Board headquarters. The Republican and Democratic directors of election, Rick Stream and Eric Fay, are denying reports that poll trainers here have been telling poll workers not to worry about the new Missouri photo ID law, denying reports that they were saying, don't worry about that, we're not the photo police. They both say the workers are being told you have to look at the photo ID that people are required to bring in on Tuesday, and if the picture doesn't match the person, contact a supervisor.
It's a day of reckoning at Twitter. Hundreds of employees are being informed they are being laid off in the wake of Elon Musk's takeover of the iconic social media platform.
Farewell tweets from Twitter employees include one tech worker who writes, "Looks like I'm unemployed, y'all. Just got remotely logged out of my laptop." Up to half of Twitter's 7,500 employees could lose their jobs. And many Twitter users like Larry Roberts are concerned about how the mass layoffs will affect content moderation.
If it's a platform where people are shouted down and so on, I don't want to be part of that.
Some of Twitter's advertisers are not taking any chances. According to the Wall Street Journal, General Mills, Audi, and Pfizer are part of a growing list of companies pausing their Twitter ads. Matt Bigler for CBS News, San Francisco.
Students at Central Visual and Performing Arts High School who experienced a school shooting plan to hold a march on Sunday. Their event will call for justice and gun control legislation while also honoring the memories of educator Gene Kuzka and promising young student Alexandria Bell. Just ahead of the midterm elections, former President Trump was in Iowa campaigning for Republican candidates when he hinted very strongly at another presidential run. CBS News political director Finn Gomez.
According to 3 Trump advisors, that the former president is considering announcing as soon as November 14th, though that is not a date that's set in stone. It could come in the following weeks after the midterm elections.
Strong sales have boosted a Powerball jackpot to an estimated $1.6 billion, making it the largest lottery prize in history. A drawing will be held Saturday night for the Powerball prize, which hasn't been won in more than 3 months.
We just buy it when they're big. This is the second time I ever bought them.
The odds of winning the record-setting Powerball jackpot are 1 in 292 million. AP correspondent Rita Foley reports on a recall involving some Volkswagen vehicles.
The recall includes some late-model Atlas Cross Sport and Atlas vehicles and some 2019 and 2020 Jetta, Golf, Atlas, and Audi A3 models. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says a sudden pressure loss in all 4 tires increases the risk of a crash.
The First Mid Bank and Trust Business Desk, a big company, does not need as big of a space.
ExxonMobil is looking at options for empty office space at the Houston area campus that'll be its global headquarters next year. The Wall Street Journal says the company found on a typical day it uses less than half the available space. It's looking at leasing or selling some of that space. Joan Doniger, Bloomberg Radio.
The Dow from Stifel's up 26 points to 32,027. There's debris on 55 north at 141. It's got the right lane closed. A crash on 55 south before Merrimack Bottom Road's got the two left lanes closed. Stalled vehicles 70 east to Jennings Station on the right shoulder.
Times of clouds and sunshine this afternoon. Breezy and very warm up to 81 degrees. Then windy and mild tonight. We'll have some rain at times, especially after midnight. Some of it could be heavy and there could be a gusty thunderstorm as well. This is AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning. Cloudy, 78 Florissant, 79 St. Peter's, 78 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Equip your home with a furnace AC combo from Jerry Kelly for just $187 a month with approved credit, minus what you'll save on your energy bill, of course. A whole system just $187 a month for a limited time at
JerryKelly.com. The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than $4? 314-441-4444.
It's 105 on the show. Chris Ranji, Amy Marskors, Kevin Wheeler with you here. Fun Police Friday coming up starting at 1:30, by the way. So if you want to start submitting your weekend plans so that we can judge, feel free. 314-436-7900 is the number, or is the number to text. If you want to leave us a voicemail and explain what you're doing, that's even better. 314-944-1120. All right, picking up on the conversation we've been having about Twitter, and everybody's talking about everything that's going on with Elon Musk and Twitter, and figure we'd probably be better off reaching out to someone who knows these things better than we do and covers tech and the tech world. So we reached out to Jeremy Owens. He's the tech editor and San Francisco bureau chief for MarketWatch. You can find Jeremy on Twitter, by the way, at JOwens510. Jeremy, thanks for joining, man. How you doing today?
Doing good. It's been a busy week, but I'm really happy to join now. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I really appreciate it as we're trying to understand exactly what's taking place at Twitter. I understand that Elon Musk will be laying off a large percentage of the workforce. I also was reading that he was trying to fire some people with cause so that there wouldn't be a severance package. Can you kind of break down who might be losing their jobs or will be losing their jobs today or in the future, and whether or not they will get some type of severance pay?
Sure. I mean, we've definitely seen the top execs walked out over the past week. CEO, CFO, head of legal, chief accounting officer, all of these. And what has been reported and I've kind of heard is that he is attempting to terminate them for a cause. Now, that does, the severance packages have a, clause in there that says if you're fired for cause, you're not going to get what you're owed in terms of your options for future stock vesting. A lot of them had severance that said, okay, well, if you get terminated, the stock we would have paid you out over the next X number of months or years, we'll go ahead and vest and you'll have it. In a firing for cause, you don't get that. But there are very specific clauses about what for cause means, and it's going to be hard for him to prove it. Basically, what he's doing is making those execs sue him to get that, and they will. I mean, this is something that happens regularly when companies attempt to terminate for cause. It's very, there are lawyers that definitely specialize in this, and it is a very hard thing to justify in a court of law. So it looks like he's just going to make these execs hire a lawyer and fight him in court. I would put my odds on the execs winning and eventually getting paid out. But again, that is just for stock shares that they have not actually vested yet. The shares that they have already vested and control, there's no way for them not to get paid out for that. For example, the head of legal already had vested and held about $34 million worth of Twitter stock at the $54.20 price. So she's going to get paid out on that. There's no way that you cannot pay her out on the stock that she owns legally and in every way she owns. She's going to get paid out on that. It's more the options that, and there is a golden parachute, especially for the top execs, that they are supposed to receive. That is what they would not receive and what is probably going to end up in court.
You also tweeted following up on that about the chief accounting officer that he did, as you said, he got the boot yesterday, but he managed to push through employees' restricted stock units. Is that what are you talking about with the restricted stock units, and which employees will that affect if they do lose their jobs?
Well, those are the standard employees on the ground, and they are supposed to, part of their salary is stock compensation, and it vests typically quarterly, right? They will get a tranche of stock, and there was a tranche of stock due to be paid to a lot of employees on November 1. And there was a report, I believe, from the New York Times late last week, early this week, that said that he was looking to fire them before November 1st, so they may not get that. That probably was never going to happen. The standard severance within Twitter would vest any stock within 90 days. Any stock that was supposed to vest within 90 days, if you get terminated, it automatically vests. You automatically get that. But what that process was him actually putting through for the RSUs that were supposed to vest on November 1, putting that through payroll and getting that to the employees. From what I've heard, that is expected to happen today or through next week. They are supposed to receive that tranche of stock, which is, kind of a severance payment for some of them. What I don't know and have not been able to confirm is about the next tranche of stock that would have vested in 90 days, if that would be part of it as well. What happens, that's even beyond my knowledge at this point. And we'll see, I'll try to talk to some of these employees and see what happened with any further stock vesting that they had on the schedule.
I know we're supposed to all be in awe of Elon's superior intellect, but it sure looks to me like he really doesn't know what he's doing with this thing. Tell me I'm wrong.
I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. I mean, this is pretty obvious from the things he's saying. I mean, he's coming into this as a user of Twitter and not as somebody who is steeped in the vagaries of social media, right? And the business side of it. As a user, he sees, I want all these product changes and I would definitely pay for it. Yes, you're a super user. Some super users will pay, but the vast majority of people are not going to pay. And most social media executives who have been in this business for a while have understood that it's going to be very hard to build a subscription business that is profitable out of a large social media company. And they really need advertising, but that is not the area he knows well. He does not care for advertising. He has always used his microphone and his ability to say outlandish things to get attention and avoid having to pay for advertising. This is why he's on Twitter and making everybody look at him and listen to him, is because that way he gets free advertising basically for Tesla, which does not traditionally advertise. So, that's a very weird thing for somebody who seems to be against advertising to come into a company that is built on advertising revenue. And he seems to really be ignoring that part almost, and very shocked that advertisers do not want to jump into a brand that was already kind of problematic in that there are a lot of toxic people on Twitter. And now this guy is becoming the face of kind of Twitter's toxicity, and he owns the company. And that's not going to make advertisers jump up and run to put their advertisements on Twitter.
And he already tweeted earlier today that activists are causing all these sponsors to back out, all these advertisers to back out, which to me sounds like absolute nonsense. Is it? Is this all because of activists
causing those advertisers to back out?
Yeah.
There are activists who are, they had a call this morning to talk about, civil rights activists to talk about how they're trying to pressure advertisers. But those advertisers are not going to fall for that. It's the platform. Twitter is such a minor platform for most advertisers. It is not Facebook. It is not Instagram. It's on the level of Snapchat, right? It's one of the minor ones, and it's real easy to cut that if in any way you're going to find any pushback or you have a problem with the brand of the platform, which like I said, there was already a problem with toxicity related to Twitter before Elon Musk bought it and became the face of that, and began talking for some of the most toxic members of Twitter and saying they should be able to say what they want. Well, then you're going to have to explain that to advertisers who don't want to put their advertisements around a bunch of toxic content.
Do you think Elon has an end goal with this purchase and all of his activity on Twitter, or is he just acting completely on impulse and, I don't know, with a troll mentality simply because he can?
Yeah, I think it's more the latter. I do not believe he has some grand plan to make Twitter worth $44 billion. I do not believe Twitter will ever really be worth $44 billion. But that doesn't mean Elon can't find his way around this, right? I mean, I don't know if you remember Solar City, a company that he invested heavily in and that his cousins ran.
I remember
about to go
Circuit City, and
bankrupt.
it feels like it's going that direction.
Right. But he used Tesla stock to bail out Solar City and acquire it when it was about to go bankrupt and save his own investment with Tesla. And I could totally see him doing something like that. He put Twitter into this holding company called X Holdings that he could totally wrap like SpaceX into. And that's a very, it's a real business that is very interesting. And it could, if he kind of combined those two and some holding company, maybe he avoids, the obvious valuation problem with Twitter. There will be ways that he could probably get out of it, but I don't believe he has some grand plan now. And I think him fumbling around, publicly kind of shows that.
Twitter is interesting because I understand that it is one of the least used social media platforms when you compare it to TikTok or Instagram and Facebook, but it really outpunches its weight class as far as the impact it has on the real world because of who is using it and how they use it. How does Elon's purchase of Twitter concern us, or should it concern us, knowing that Twitter, which is kind of a fake world, has real world impact?
I mean, that's kind of the thing is there are a lot of world leaders, journalists, celebrities, other very important people on Twitter saying important things. And that's what makes Twitter important. That doesn't make it a revenue generator. And it also we could all leave, right? Like these platforms have changed over the years. I mean, I used to be on MySpace. Nobody on MySpace anymore, right? And so it's a delicate balance here to make sure that you don't anger those power users and the important people that are on that platform every day, because they're the ones who the rest of the users are coming to see what they're saying. And so that's the problem with if Musk does make it too toxic of a platform, it's not just advertisers you're going to lose, it's your very important power users and celebrities who are the reason a lot of us come onto Twitter every day to see what they're saying.
So I don't know if we would qualify him as a reasonable person, Jeremy, but I felt like all along that this would be he has all these wonderful ideas, but the minute it starts costing him money is when he's going to be like, okay, we can just go back to the old way. I mean, does that happen, or is he just too invested in being Elon for that to be a possibility?
I mean, the real problem here is that even the old way is not going to give him enough money to service the debt. The debt that's in this transaction is going to need about $1 billion a year to service, to pay off the debt. And Twitter doesn't make $1 billion a year in profit/free cash, and so he has to increase that amount. And nothing he's done so far has suggested that he will be able to increase the amount of money, the amount of profit coming into Twitter, just to be able to make it break even for every year. And that's really where the rubber's going to hit the road here with Elon, is how he's going to service that debt, how he's going to make Twitter make more money than it already has. So even going back to the old way isn't going to do that, right? You've got to keep that old way and create some new revenue that is actually, bringing in cash. And that's going to be very difficult. And again, I don't see him having a plan to do that.
I feel so bad for him.
But before we let you
man, poor guy.
Well, before we let you go, Jeremy, I guess I have one more question, and that is, it's easy to talk about Twitter as this monolith, but I mean, there are very real people working there. A lot of people could lose their jobs. How many people do you think end up losing their jobs at the end of this?
Well, he says 50% of the staff, so that's more than 3,000 people. And I stress to people that we can tend to look at tech workers as these faceless young millennials eating their avocado toast and drinking their lattes. But these are real people. These are parents and members of my community, that within Silicon Valley that are not making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. These are middle-class workers trying to raise families in a very expensive area, and they're losing their jobs. Not just in Silicon Valley, but in New York and Chicago and other parts of the United States. I know St. Louis has tech companies. Square built a big office there, if I'm not mistaken, and there are others there. And these are members of our community, and not, they're not all Elons. Most of them are typical workaday people, and they're losing their jobs today. And it's not something to celebrate. It's not something to make light of just because, the guy who's doing it is a billionaire troll. These are real issues, and it's not a happy day for a lot of people right now. And we should always remember that.
That is a great point, and that is the money point. Jeremy, thanks so much for your time today. Great work on the coverage. We appreciate it. And I think you nailed it there at the end. You're right. The bigger problem here is that real people, regular people, are going to feel this more than anybody else, and that sucks.
Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
You got it. Jeremy Owens from Market Watch. You can find him on Twitter at JOwens510.
Of the dozens of things I can't get past regarding this whole Twitter thing, it's that Elon has come in and thought that he's the first person in the world in the 15-year history of Twitter to think of subscription. No, but if they didn't think they could have made money that way, you don't think they would have been doing this for a decade, you stupid idiot? Of course they would have. Like you're the first person to think of that.
Oh, of course
he's just so ridiculous.
Yes. He is definitely the guy that
Come
thinks
on, man.
He is the one that thought of everything for the very first time. All right, hey, Fun Police are coming up at 1:30 if you want to start submitting your weekend plans. Hopefully you guys have better plans than me. I'm going to go. I'm getting detained again today.
Yeah.
314-436-7900 is the number. Actually, I got one thing going that might get me off the hook completely.
No.
I'll tell you about that coming up. You can also voicemail 314-944-1120.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to KMOX for all the news, sports, talk, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
Carol Daniel for Ophthalmology Associates. For the best eye doctors, you need to see the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. Online at youridoc.com or 314-966-5000.
Hi, Chris Saraceno for the Bartolinos family of restaurants, where we want to thank our veterans and active military who have bravely defended and continue to protect our freedoms. And thank you, our loyal guest, for the opportunity to serve you for over 50 years. In the traditions established by our mother and father, I'd like to invite you to one of our 4 restaurants. Bartolino South on South Lindbergh, Bartolino's Osteria at Hampton and 44, Chris's Pancake and Dining at the corner of Watson and Southwest, and Chris's at the Docket downtown on Tucker Boulevard, where our family awaits to serve you.
This is Corey from Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Your HVAC system is one of the biggest investments you have in your home, and it impacts your comfort every day. If you need a new HVAC system, contact us for a free estimate to see if you qualify for 0% financing for up to 72 months. And for a limited time, you can get double Carrier Cool Cash rebates for up to $3,500 in savings. With over 50 years of award-winning service, you can trust Air Comfort Service with your HVAC system. For details and to get in your comfort zone, visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
If you own a house in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is, without any inspections or the need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes St. Louis at 314-328-8000 or at chrisbuyshomes.louis.com and get your cash offer without any obligations, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant houses, inherited houses, fixer-uppers, beautiful houses, even the tenant won't pay the rent apartment. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis, and check out the best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to chrisbuyshomesinstlouis.com. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis or call 314-328-8000. That's 314-328-8000. Call Chris and get the offer you've been waiting for. Chris Buys Homes in St. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. or call 314-328-8000.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at ThrottleNet. These are the genius IT guys that I've been representing for years and years now. We are number one all the time. Best in customer service from Small Business Monthly. Best in cybersecurity, again, Small Business Monthly. We have an average response time. I love this statistic. The average response time in St. Louis in 2020 by IT companies. You have a problem, you reach out to them, hey, I'm all shut down, help me, was 3 hours. If you got back within 3 hours, you were cool. Ours was 1 minute, 57 seconds, and the guys were very unhappy with that. It takes less than 2 minutes for us to address your problems. Here's a huge thing. We are now offering $500,000 in ransom protection to everyone who uses us. This is part of the deal. You don't pay extra for it. So if you happen to be hit and you have to pay. We're going to pay it up to $500,000. Now, this shows you how confident we are because no one under our protection has ever had to pay. Go to throttlenet.com/DGS.
We go where you go. 1120 AM, 98.7 FM, KMOX.com.
All right, so one more quick follow-up on the Elon Musk thing. There was a tweet, I think it was last night, that got retweeted. I think Ian Scher was the one that retweeted. We've had him on the show a couple of times. But this was a tweet from Scott Nober, who is a verified account. Let's see if he has to pay to keep that. He said, Elon's offer to buy Twitter was so outlandishly high that A, Twitter's old board couldn't say no. Mm-hmm. B, Musk himself couldn't afford it. And C, it damned the entire company to significant debt and massive layoffs. Every part of this deal has been and continues to be stupid.
Yeah, he's what I said the other day, that he's proof that seemingly intelligent people can be really dumb sometimes.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I wonder if there's going to be an effect named after this, like the Elon Musk effect, which is when you severely overvalue something and buy it, and which drives it into the ground.
Well, what I think this should
Maybe
do,
that already exists.
and I'm not sure this is going to do it for millions of people, because there are millions of people that will go to the mat for him no matter what, because
Very
he's
odd.
a genius and he's smarter than everybody, whatever. But what this should do is, if you're an average person looking at him, you should think to yourself, just because a guy has a couple of successful companies and has a lot of money does not mean that he is supremely intelligent. That does not mean that. He's a smart person, but he ain't as smart as he makes himself out to be.
And I think some of the infatuation with Elon Musk is based on the platitude that your enemy's enemy is your friend. And I think people are so into owning whoever it may own the libs, their anti-establishmentarianism, own the establishment, own this or that, or the media. And because Elon Musk will say something critical of the media or certain politicians or the woke left or whatever it may be, they rally behind him like, yeah, he's taking it to our enemies, not realizing he probably looks down on you just as much.
Look,
it's just the enemy. Your enemy's enemy is your friend. I think that's driving some of this bizarre obsession with Musk.
Look, Elon and Kyrie Irving and Kanye West, they're the same person. They're extremely talented. They've performed. They make a lot of people a lot of money. And when you're in that spot, nobody tells you no. There's nobody there to check you and say that's a bad idea, because people want your money.
Yeah.
So they're going to be, yes, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're brilliant. You're a genius. Kyrie, you're so right. You're brilliant. You're a genius. Elon, you're brilliant. You're a genius. Yes, sir. You're right. We should do that. And it's all you hear. And then you start to believe your own BS.
Yep.
And that's exactly what it is. You just think whatever you believe is reality. And
because nobody pushes back against you.
Right.
And the people who do, you fire.
Right. And you're also insulated from most consequences until, in the case of Kanye, you lose 75% of your net worth in a week. I don't know if that's going to happen to Elon, but I've seen legitimate reporters point out this could be a deal that significantly dents his wealth, his ranking in the world, as far as one of the world's richest men, because it's such a terrible deal.
Unless, for whatever reason, he just felt like he's going to buy this thing, destroy it, and then still be really wealthy after the fact. For whatever reason, just because he could. Like, that's it. On some level, it almost feels like that's the only logical thing that would make sense, is that he just wants to tear it down for the reasons that Amy's talking about, because it owns certain people. I don't know. He's really something.
It almost feels like he said something in the moment, didn't expect to have to follow through with it.
So
Right.
you're saying
now
his
he's
mouth
stuck.
wrote a check that his ass can't cash?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a blank around, find out kind of thing.
Oh, well, we'll see how much he finds out. Hopefully not at the expense of too many other people's lives, though.
People are losing their jobs now because of him.
Absolutely. All right, hey, we got the Fun Police coming up next. You got plans for the weekend that you want to brag about, or maybe wallow in sorrow along with yours truly. 314-436-7900, 314-944-1120. I do have one activity, though, that may redeem my weekend in the eyes of my co-hosts. We'll see next on the show.
I only know what life looks like and feels like through my eyeballs.
It's my
I wonder if anyone is where they thought they would be. I'm not where I thought I would be even 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Life changes so much. Yeah, hey, make your plans, do what you want to do, whether it's marriage or kids or your job or your health.
Discover the life of Dave Glover.
I'm surprised at how surprising life is.
Weekday afternoons beginning at 2, only on KMOX.
This is Debbie Monterey with a real estate update and some insight from my friend and trusted realtor, Gloria Liu, with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria told me that sitting on the sidelines may not be the best strategy moving forward in this continually shifting market. Homes aren't selling as quickly, and in most cases, price reductions are becoming pretty common. Gloria also said that earlier this year, with low inventory, sellers didn't need a strategy to sell homes because homes were listed and sold immediately. Now more than ever, it's crucial to have a proven strategy to get your home sold, and that's why I strongly suggest you call local real estate expert Gloria Liu before you list your home to get the absolute most money. Gloria is so confident that she will sell your home, she'll guarantee in writing upfront to sell it at your agreed-to price and time frame, or she'll buy your home herself. Learn more by calling Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or online at GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
At 1:30, we've got some clouds and some sun. It's 80 degrees downtown at the Arch. America's employers kept hiring vigorously in October, adding 261,000 positions. Hiring was brisk across industries. A strong job market is deepening the challenges the Federal Reserve faces as it raises interest rates to try to bring inflation down. Former Twitter employee Simon Balmain told how he was sacked as the firm cut workers' access to internal systems after telling employees they would be informed by email about whether they were being laid off.
Hard to figure out what's going to happen next, and we, weren't really told too much. Things all sort of went a bit quiet, so people were just kind of confused.
You can own a piece of a late statesman and diplomat.
Pieces of Colin Powell's historic career are hitting the auction block. Powell, who served as Secretary of State under President George W. Bush, died last year at the age of 84. Going up for bid, 400 diverse items, including a Star Wars lightsaber given to him by George Lucas, a race car helmet, and memorabilia connected to the Buffalo Soldiers, the 19th century African-American Army regiments. The auction will benefit the America's Promise Alliance and Colin Powell School at the City College of New York. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
AccuWeather forecast, a mix of clouds and sun today with the high 81 degrees, mostly cloudy overnight, some rain, some heavy, and some strong winds possible too with the low 54. Tomorrow we'll start with the shower. Sunshine returns later on with a high of 63. It's 80 degrees at the moment downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Men suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, regardless of age or past medical history, you'll see instant results on your first visit at Paramount Men's Medical Center. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free. Call now, 314-720-8081.
Driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Alexi Janulius' past is littered with scandals, fiscal mismanagement, and shady behavior. As state treasurer, he lost over $150 million of college savings funds with risky investments. And his family bank was seized after loans were made to Russian mafia members.
I'm Dan Brady, and I have a plan to improve the Secretary of State's office by cutting wait lines, increasing senior services, and reducing license plate renewal fees. We need someone we can trust as our next Secretary of State, and that's me, Dan Brady.
Paid for by friends of Dan Brady.
As inflation continues to rise, it's more important than ever for people with Medicare to evaluate plan options and learn how they can secure access to quality, affordable health care during the Medicare Advantage and Prescription Drug Plan annual election period, which runs from October 15th through December 7th. Catherine Field with Humana shares more.
Evaluating and selecting a plan can seem daunting, but resources are available to eligible beneficiaries, those who are over the age of 65 or those living with disabilities. For example, you can attend educational events, coordinate one-on-one meetings with licensed health insurance agents, visit websites like Medicare.gov to compare plans. These tools
are very helpful to understanding Medicare Advantage offerings. So it's worth investing the time to evaluate your options, ensure you find the best plan for your healthcare needs and for your wallet.
To learn more, visit Medicare.gov or Humana.com/Medicare. This is sponsored by Humana.
The Billikens men's basketball season tips off Monday. You can catch the action here as the Billikens host Murray State. Pregame 6:47, tip at 7 on your home for Billikens basketball. KMOX. It's Fun Police Friday. Friday on the show.
All right, Fun Police Friday. You guys can submit your weekends for approval. I'll approve. Amy and Raj probably won't.
No.
314-436-7900 is the number for the text line. 944-1120 for voicemails if you want to tell us what you got going on this weekend.
Who's going to start?
You start.
Oh, well, I am getting as far away from you two people as possible.
You're going
and Dave.
you're going to Timbuktu?
I am going to, well, that's not as far away as from possible, but I feel like 4.5 hours is good enough.
Okay, that's
I'm going to
far.
go to Chicago and visit a friend who is leaving for Texas like a doofus. He's going to San Antonio. He's moving to San Antonio, which I don't know why anybody want to do that, but he's moving there, and I want to go see him. He got a job, so I'm going to go do that. Might end up going to the Bears game on Sunday, but I am not going to pay $500 for tickets.
Are you going for free?
We'll see.
So is this if
We'll
your
see.
friend
You're
is
not
in a
doing
real
the $500 ticket thing.
No, remember,
Yeah.
for people who weren't listening the other day, I had a friend who was in a panic and texted me late at night, and she's like, hey, I accidentally bought these seats. Do you know anybody who would want them? And she thought the total for 4 tickets was $525, but it turned out it was $525 each.
Oh, that first one would have been kind of reasonable.
Yeah, $525 for 4 tickets,
Yeah.
not bad.
Yeah.
But this dingus, she paid. I think it ended up with service charges like $2,600.
Oh,
anyway,
my gosh.
and I'm like, well, I'm not paying for that, but I'll see what I can do, and nobody wants them.
That is
Anyway,
a kick to the
Bears
fruit
game?
basket.
a Bears game,
Bears
not even a
game?
Super Bowl.
And who are they playing?
The Dolphins.
So not even like a really big famous opponent.
No, it's.
I mean, the Dolphins are
Dolphins.
fine, but they're not like, it's not like you're bringing in like the old Tom Brady Patriots,
You know
the
what?
Super Bowl champions, or it's not the Packers, right? If it was the Packers, what do those tickets cost if it's the Packers?
I know.
I don't know.
It might be $1,000 each in that case.
Yeah, it's very difficult to get into those games.
Yeah, no kidding. So that's
Anyway,
it.
so yeah, I'm going to do that. I will be back with you on Tuesday, which will be election day, as we call it, Hell-election day.
Election day.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and give myself.
You need a citation. I think this is.
I think I'm gonna
awful,
give
the
my-
whole thing. It's a stupid weekend. He's going to Chicago. He's going far away from us. He may
Wait.
or may not go to the Bears game.
But both of those first two things are really good.
No.
I am going to go see my friend.
You're going to hang out with friends
Can I-
in a place where there's a lot of fun stuff to do.
Yeah, and I
No.
am going to give my friend a citation for going to San Antonio to live.
Maybe it's a good job.
No, it isn't.
Oh, it's
Can't be
not.
that
You are
good.
the worst
I lived in San
fun
Antonio for
police
18
officer.
years. I can tell them all the good spots. I know all the good restaurants.
I'm
So,
the nice
I can help
one.
them out.
So there are 4.
Oh,
I'll
there's,
tell them.
there's a lot more than 4.
Uh,
There's a great taqueria on every corner.
I'll say Tony, Dave, producer Dave, told us of the 4 places in San Antonio you might want to go to.
Also, no state income tax.
That's really good.
Yeah, but then you live in San Antonio.
You ever been there?
Well, trust me, the money is pretty nice.
I guess you can go to
I've never
the.
been there, so I don't know.
You can go to a Spurs game. That's cool.
Yeah, used to be.
The Alamo.
They're kind of crappy now.
Oh
aren't they?
yeah, you can go see the Alamo.
There you go.
Riverwalk.
Forgot about the Alamo.
Yeah, I forgot about the
He
Alamo.
didn't remember the
Remember
Alamo.
the Alamo.
I forgot the Alamo. I've always wanted to check out the basement.
There ain't no basement in the Alamo.
Amy has no idea what I'm talking about.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
You ever seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
Yeah.
You have not.
I
Did
have.
not. No way, because you would
No,
know that.
you would
But
know.
it was a long time ago. But
So
I
he
saw
was
it.
looking for his stolen bicycle, and somebody told him
Yeah.
it was in the basement at the Alamo.
That's
And he gets to the Alamo, and he's like, "When are we going to see the basement?" And we're like, "There's no basement at the Alamo."
No, I've seen Pee Wee's Playhouse and Pee Wee's Big Adventure. That's where he tapes his face.
Yeah, with the
tape.
Scotch tape. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's a bad
Okay,
Pee-wee.
that you get a citation, your friend gets a citation, and your friend who bought
free
the
pass.
Bears tickets gets a citation.
Oh, she should go to jail
Yeah, yeah,
immediately.
yeah. She gets the jail. But you, sir, I'm calling a judge. I'm having all of the tickets she wrote you. I'm having them all
Well,
expunged.
thank you. I appreciate that,
Can't
Kevin.
expunge
I know the judge.
unilaterally.
I know the judge.
Well, I know a judge. I can't expunge.
It's the wrong judge. Judge Judy doesn't count.
Amy,
What?
What are your stupid plans?
Well, they've gotten stupider, to be honest.
Oh, I see. Miss Critical.
Yeah.
Well,
That
so there
sounds
were
right.
there were all sorts of things in the plan. I have a bunch of friends going to Indianapolis to run my favorite marathon, where I will not be running that, and they are. And so we were going to thought about cheering them on, but it was last minute, didn't work out. I was also going to be moving this weekend, but there was some, I guess, permitting stuff that needs to be done. So basically, that got cleared up. So I have scheduled a couple of meetings.
Ugh.
I'm
hearing a lot of was going to.
I know. That's what I said. It got stupider today. And so I got some meetings. And then the one good thing tomorrow, it's my brother's fiance's birthday. And we're going to make dinner. And I am actually a pretty good baker. So I am baking a birthday cake tomorrow.
Brunch.
Ugh. Sounds horrible.
This is the time I'm not playing good cop.
No, that's bad.
That sounds awful.
You're in the back of the
Baking
car
a
right now.
birthday cake?
No, just the whole thing.
You are
Like you're more into what you were going to do as opposed to what you are going to do.
Yeah, because now I am going to run again today, run again tomorrow morning, run Sunday, and then bake a birthday cake. Which cake and running are my two favorite things.
Well, I mean, maybe you get a little bit of a, I don't know, like a low. I'll write the ticket a little lower. You know, sometimes I could catch you going 85. I'll give you 75.
No, she's in the back of the car right now while we run her background check.
What if I go to dinner at a friend's house tonight? Does that help?
I think
No.
so, but
I
not
did get
Depends. What are you
invited.
going to have?
It does, but not enough.
So it's actually really fun. So again,
Oh,
because
God.
my plans changed, it is my good friend Noah is making Shabbat dinner, and she's an incredible cook. And so it's, there's family Shabbat dinner every Friday night, and it's delicious.
You know what? So if it's really good food, that's
It's
again, you get a little
delicious
bit of a
food.
benefit. But
Okay.
Okay.
You're still getting a fine.
Yeah, you're still gonna. Yeah, it's.
Yeah. We'll
It's
knock
not
that.
great.
We'll knock the ticket
It's not
down.
great.
We'll knock the ticket down 10 miles an hour. But other than that,
Okay.
you got tickets.
Kevin, what about you?
All right. So tonight's probably movie night with my wife after dinner. Tomorrow will be a lot of college football, some video games, but Florida State Miami is the big game for me tomorrow. Probably going to suck, but it's going to be there. But tomorrow night, this is the saving grace for the weekend, because Sunday will be NFL and fun stuff. Tomorrow night, I felt like there's one event that I'm doing that might, with the two of you, be just like get out of jail free card completely.
Oh.
I am going to a holiday party tomorrow night.
A Christmas party? Christmas holiday party?
It's all inclusive. It's not just Christmas, but yes, we will be exchanging gifts. We're doing the whole, what do you call that? Where you're doing mystery gifts and you can trade them. What's
A
that whole
white
thing?
elephant?
Yeah, that. We're doing that. It's
You are
usually,
doing a Christmas.
So,
Kevin?
so our
Kevin.
next door neighbor does this every year. It's hilarious and fun. The gifts are amazing. Usually there are like prank gifts and there's a lot of booze gifts. So we will be eating and drinking and
Don't sing,
exchanging
Amy.
gifts. So I feel like that's my get out of jail
Kevin,
free
you
card.
have, guess what? You not only are you free to go, you are getting a police escort.
Yes!
You're getting a police escort.
I told you guys that there's the one thing that's going to redeem the whole weekend. Amy, that sounds awful.
Yeah, it sounds great, Amy.
No, I just mean like the audio quality sounds
Well, you need to
awful.
put it closer
Well,
to
it
the
was my
microphone.
phone.
What you
I
got to
just-
do is
Yeah.
throw some Christmas songs into the system.
I love it.
I
I
was-
love what you're doing tomorrow, Kevin.
I was
See, I told
making
you.
making a fuss
Oh, were you?
to try to get someone to play Christmas music.
I was just shocked that I'm getting a police escort.
Absolutely.
I
support
told you
this.
guys that would be the one thing
Yeah.
that's going to get
Well
it.
done.
It's the first holiday / Christmas party
I
of the year.
support it so
It's-
much.
It's November
done-
4th.
It's done early because people travel for Thanksgiving. It was like the only weekend because our neighbor does this, and she has like a whole wide group of friends that some of
Yeah.
our neighbors, and it was the only weekend that everybody could go between now and Christmas. So she decided that's the way we're
I
going to go.
have to say, to be honest, I'm a little stunned,
Yep.
and this might get you past some future citations.
Yeah. Oh, really? It's
Yeah,
that
maybe.
good?
Well,
No,
I mean,
don't
we'll
know.
see.
Come on, Ron.
Will depend.
No,
It-
you're
it
being
depends.
ridiculous. You don't have to. You don't have to overdo it. This
I
is the
know.
problem with you.
I know.
One thing happens and we make a decision. We
Yeah.
decide we're going to give him a police escort. You get carried away in the fun and the momentum. I mean, everybody knows you as struggling with too much enthusiasm
Raj.
in general.
I think Amy hates Christmas.
Yeah, she really does.
No, I just think you've gone overboard.
And now we finish the segment with producer Dave's horrible plans.
My horrible plans will be just like Amy. I'm getting ready to move, and if your friend, if he would have contacted me maybe 6 months ago, I would have had a house for him in San Antonio. But
They've
I
been
sold it.
looking for a house for about 6 months.
Did I ever mention that I used to own a house? And
Did I ever
anyway,
mention- did I mention that I have a house?
and somehow this weekend I have to figure out how to fit a 3-bedroom house worth of stuff into a 1-bedroom apartment.
That sounds
horrible. I got an idea
Yes, that's
for
gonna be
you.
awful.
Horrible.
And
It's a big old dumpster.
that's going to be a big part of it too. Then on Sunday, I think I'm going to go to the St. Louis Record Collectors convention down. It's in on
Actually,
Lansdowne.
that sounds kind of
Pick up
interesting.
some new vinyl.
Now that sounds interesting.
All right.
Okay. That's not too bad.
I know I'm going to commit heresy here. I don't get the whole vinyl thing.
Oh, that's heresy,
Kevin.
I mean,
that's
like,
a fine.
I had actual like vinyl records when I was a kid because that's all you had. You had that, and then eventually cassette tapes came along. I don't get it anymore. The other technology is better.
It's just not as cool.
Why?
Because there's something cool about putting a record on a player.
music.
Yeah.
It's physical
I like
music.
it.
See, the digital recording sounds more like what it's played live and in the studio as opposed to having the flaws of vinyl.
Sound quality on vinyl is pretty good, actually.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying it's not
Pretty good.
exactly as you would hear it. Digital is exactly
If
as you would hear it.
But they can put secrets.
You
and
can't hear
Easter
anything.
eggs. No, and
You can put,
Easter
like,
eggs in
That's
vinyl.
right.
Backwards messages.
No, they
Paul
do.
is dead.
Jack White has a secret song under the paper in the center of
Oh,
his
really?
Lazaretto
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
album.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. And if you play them backwards, you get devil music.
Or you get a message like
Right.
drink more Ovaltine. Wasn't that the message?
That's Christmas Story, by the way.
Oh!
Christmas Story 2 is coming out
Tell me
this year.
I want it to be good. 'cause
They're
I
all
love-
back
I
in
love
it.
The
It's
original.
not
I
gonna
know
be
but it
Ralphie's
sounds
in
like
it.
it's going to be horrible.
Of
There's
course
no
it's going to
way.
be horrible, but I'm going to watch it.
Speaking of Ralphie,
Yeah.
this is the name Ralph. I was looking through an old KMOX box of photos, and KMOX photos go a long way back. And in that box of photos, I found a picture of Charlie Brennan with Ralph Macchio, the Karate Kid.
Yes.
The year the movie came out.
Yep. Did he look like he was 14?
Charlie or Ralph?
Ralph, not
Ralph.
Charlie.
Yeah.
Although Charlie probably looked pretty young then
Charlie
too.
looked very young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And today is his birthday.
Who?
Ralph Macchio.
It is?
I think
What?
he's 60.
He's 60
61,
something.
like
I
that.
know that.
And I found that photo.
I heard that on TIAM this
Amy,
morning.
it's a message. You need
It's
to
a
watch.
message.
You need to watch The Karate Kid today.
He is 61 years old today.
Either The Karate Kid or The Outsiders. You got to watch one of those two today because that's your destiny.
Okay, I also found this photo. Sorry, this was an incredible box because it's KMOX. So there was this roll of film, and if you held the film up, it was this photo shoot with Jack Buck from years ago. And then there was a very old photo, kind of sepia toned, and it was a grand piano in a room that was very fancy with curtains hanging all over it and a chandelier and carpets. It was one of the original studios for KMOX in the 1920s, where they would bring in big acts to play the piano and sing on live radio.
I'm very interested in that kind of stuff. I love
It's
that.
incredible.
Our 100-year history is in, or 100-year anniversary is in 2 years.
Yeah.
I think it's 25.
Yep.
Right?
coming up.
2025? Yeah.
Got a text on the vinyls thing. Sean is educating me, and I think he makes a great point.
Okay.
He says their vinyls are very pretty to look at and a collector's item. It's not just for listening, although a lot of people do prefer the sound. Like my brother prefers the sound. But Sean, good call. I agree. You're right. I'm wrong.
Sean
on that.
is right too, because
Yeah.
we would open. My dad had his original Supertramp, the band Supertramp vinyls from college, and my sister and I would open them up, and I just remember the crisis, with the guy who was sunbathing in the dystopian future on the top of this building, and then there was Crime of the Century, which had the prison bars in space, very scary, and you would open it up, and the vinyls were an experience.
Okay. Good times.
This is why you and I will never hang out.
Amy, there's a lot more reasons than that. We're going to wrap up the business of the day coming up next on the show.
Find the perfect gift at Petals Patio and Garden. New inventory of pottery from the Royal Botanic Gardens at Kew, bearing the royal crest of the London home of Queen Elizabeth's garden. Shop houseplants, boxwood balls, garden tools and ware, coffee table books, and hand-selected wines and spirits. Shop local at Petals Patio for quality and service. Nationwide shipping and complimentary gift wrapping. Petals Patio and Garden, 9757 Clayton Road in the Ladue Marketplace, near 40 in Lindbergh. Online at petalspatio.com.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from the Gelman team of eXp Realty. Selling your home, every situation is unique. Find the best options that are right for you from the real estate team who offer more options. My friends Mark and Neil Gelman, check out the only agents that I trust at thegelmanteam.com.
What's the best product I bought this year? Oh, that's easy. Salonpas pain relieving patches. The proven medicines in Salonpas patches reduce my pain and let me do the things I need to do every day.
In a recent clinical study, patients using Salonpas reported improved sleep, mood, and the ability to work. They had less pain and were able to reduce their use of oral pain medications.
For pain, I use Salonpas. It's good medicine.
When a cold comes on strong, knock it out with Vicks DayQuil Severe for max strength daytime relief. Just one dose of Vicks DayQuil Severe starts to relieve 9 of your worst cold and flu symptoms to help take you from 9 to none. Power through your day with Vicks DayQuil Severe, the daytime non-drowsy, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, 9 to none medicine. Use as directed.
CertaPro painters have powers beyond those of ordinary painters.
The power of precision.
That's the power of a skilled local team who know what they're doing.
The power of accurate estimates.
Estimates, not guesstimates.
The power of certainty.
CertaPro painters. That's the power of pro. Get your project started at CertaPro.com.
Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
Learn about the history and lessons of the Holocaust at the newly renovated St. Louis Kaplan Feldman Holocaust Museum, reopening November 2nd. Membership and tickets for individual and group tours at stlholocaustmuseum.org.
Home Sweet Home mission is to give underserved families a sense of pride and to improve the quality of their lives by providing basic household furnishings. To learn more, go to homesweethomestl.org.
Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Find the car you want, new or used. Get it at Clement, get pre-approved. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. ClementAutoGroup.com.
Hi, it's Debbie Monterey, and I see clearly thanks to Doctors Birdie and Malhotra. You can too. Go to youridoc.com today or call 314-966-5000.
The show, sponsored by Straight Realty, your St. Louis area experts. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444. More Amy, more Kevin, more Chris.
What is this weird show?
The show on KMOX.
Oh, God. Hey, it's the show on KMOX. We welcome your tweets at 944-1120. Or you're not your tweets, your tweets. What the hell am I talking about?
Good job, Ronj.
Your voicemails at 944-1120. That's 314-944-1120.
Haven't listened to your show, but just turned it on to tune in and for past couple hours, and it's amazing to me how your intellectual elitist superiority mindset overrules everybody else, and the fake laughter that goes along when you demean people that don't agree with you is appalling.
First of all,
No. First of all, sorry. There's one first of all here. He listened for 2 hours.
I know.
Thanks.
Thank you. Good job, buddy.
That is really nice.
Well done, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
You showed us. Appreciate you listening for 2 hours. Also, this laughter is not fake, and I'll tell you why. Because we were just recounting during the break a story that I told, and I said it very matter-of-factly in the office prior to the show today. And I did it without even thinking. I don't know what we were talking about. And I said, you know what? I was in the shower today thinking about Warren Buffett.
No, I think you said I was thinking about Warren Buffett
in the shower. I was. And you guys were like, what are you thinking about Warren? What I was thinking about, I don't know how I got there. I just know that I ended up thinking about how this man just did an interview recently, and he reiterated the fact that he is not going to give his kids his fortune when he dies.
Yeah.
He's giving it all away. And I thought, is that good? Should I feel bad for them? And I'm like, no, I can't feel bad for these people.
So you're thinking all that in the shower?
Yeah, it's weird.
You know what I'm
Did you
thinking in the
think of-
shower in the morning?
What?
Can't believe I'm awake.
Oh, dude.
Why am I so tired?
Dude, I had most of my thought this is my brain because I don't talk to myself in the shower. So this is what's going on in my head while I'm showering. Like, I feel so bad right now. I can't believe Warren Buffett's giving away his fortune. That's what I'm thinking about when I'm showering.
At that time of the day, I have no thoughts in my head. I am an automaton. I'm walking through the house. I'm like, all right, get your medicines and then go take a shower. And then, you got to grab some food. Like that's it. Literally the depth of my thought process for about the first 15, 20 minutes that I'm conscious.
Mine's a million miles an hour. All the tabs are open.
Your 7 a.m. is like our 4 p.m. It's completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Again, 944-1120 to leave us a voicemail.
If Amy Mark's score really believes that Republicans did not vote because President Trump told them not to vote, then she's a complete idiot. That's a lie spread by the news media, the fake news media, the lying news media. Amy Mark's score should know better, but she's hanging out now with all you news media guys, and everything's coming out of her mouth is nothing but fake news.
Wow. First of all, this guy's a very loyal listener.
Get some new material, too.
Yeah, new
material. Let me trot out every cliche I've ever heard from the people I agree with.
He does not like the fake news media.
He doesn't like the fake news. Like people don't like the fake laughter.
Well, you can hate our laughs. That's fair. They ain't fake.
Mm-hmm.
You could think that we're stupid for laughing at the things that we do.
So here's what I will say, because this is the numbers. So there were 752,000 Georgian voters who cast ballots in the 2020 presidential elections and then did not show up for the runoffs just 2 months later. And more than half of those were white. Many lived in rural areas, and they were constituencies that leaned heavily towards Republican candidates.
Wait, so you had facts?
Yes.
Oh, that's not allowed, Amy.
I don't know. I, for one, have had it up to here with Amy Marxist cores.
I know. She is the worst.
I'm done with her.
The worst.
You know what's the worst thing about Amy? The two people she hangs out with for 4 hours every weekday.
Oh, Kevin, that's sweet.
Listen.
That's the nicest thing you've ever said.
That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
Listen.
You
Amy,
ruined
what?
my muffin this morning.
Oh, what? I did. Well, you
I
said
had a
something rude to
chocolate
me,
chip
and then I
muffin.
took a pen, took a pen, and then I. Kevin left.
Can't talk.
She had a chocolate chip Oreo muffin, and I.
That was baked by Debbie's daughter, Kaylee.
Yeah, I
They're
had one-
delicious. And you took a pen and you...
Okay.
Well,
hey, listen.
Stop it, Kevin, right now. I know what you're thinking.
You know what
Stop
we
it.
just did? Hey, what we just did was we brought the show full circle because we started with the muffin being stabbed by a pen, and we end on that. Have a great weekend. Dave Glover Show next.
The heavy sigh. It's usually a sign of being overwhelmed, as if to say, I can't believe this is happening. Steve All at the All Financial Group has seen those feelings from the people who walk through his doors. If you feel overwhelmed about planning for retirement, call 636-230-8824 and get more details online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory services offered through All Financial Group, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuity products offered through Stephen All, Missouri license 8039738.
Fall is here. Football, beautiful weather, and the changing colors of trees and shrubs. When you think of your trees, call family-owned Gamma Tree Experts. Fall is a great time to prune and fertilize your valuable trees. Our staff of certified arborists will survey your trees to determine